HD1 and HD2 Kansas City for Chiefs football.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
And your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer. And baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very excited to be here with you on this wonderful Tuesday. We have a lot to get into in today's show. We are going to start our transition in talking Royals baseball and getting you ready for the start of the baseball season. The Royals open up their season on Friday in Atlanta. We will talk a lot of baseball today. We're going to start to dabble back into the NFL draft. We're coming up on less than a month until we get to the NFL draft. We got a lot of college basketball in the show today as well. Really happy that you guys are here with us. The phone lines, as always, 913-586-7965. We got a lot to get into in today's show. Before we dive right in, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. And number three, and most importantly, remember that it is Tenderloin Tuesday with our friends over at The Other Place. Go stop by any one of their 5 area locations and celebrate a Tenderloin Tuesday. All right, let's dive right into it. Let's go back in time just a little bit. Bill Self was asked after Kansas's loss on Sunday what his future looks like. Here was his answer.
Given what you've gone through on and off the court, how much time will you take to reflect upon what is next on this stage of your career?
Well, I haven't really gone through much on the court. You know, I've gone through some stuff off the court, so I'll get back and get with family and visit and see what's going on. I love what I do. You know, I need to be able to do it where I'm feeling good and healthy to do it, fairly well. So I'll get back home and it'll all be discussed.
That was Bill Self after the loss on Sunday in the press conference. I understand those emotions are very fresh. You're coming off a very long and grueling season. You're coming off a disappointing loss in the NCAA tournament. I didn't expect to get a lot of clarity with his answer in that individual moment. We are starting to hear more and more rumblings. Now, Rob, you are a lot closer to this than I am. I would say that there is not a media member that is more plugged into what is going on inside Kansas athletics than Mike Vernon. He gets more scoops than just about anybody who covers the Kansas basketball and Kansas football programs. He was on the midday show earlier today. He was asked what he is hearing regarding Bill Self. Here's what he said.
The latest that I'm hearing is kind of this expectation or reality, or at least preparation around KU, that Bill Self will not be back next year. But I don't think a final decision has been made yet, or at least last I had heard. It was as of yesterday. So we're still 24, 36 hours at that time away from, a emotional, painful tournament loss. But the initial thoughts were that may be his last game at Kansas.
I don't believe that this is going to be a long, drawn-out process. I'll play for you guys the second part of this where Mike Vernon goes through what he believes the timeline to be in a Bill Self decision. But I would say all of the momentum, all of the smoke seems to be trending in the direction that Kansas is going to be looking for a new basketball coach. Now, I don't know if that's going to be somebody in-house. I don't know if that's going to be somebody outside the program. We'll talk about that more here coming up after the Open. But I would say behind the scenes, that seems to be the rumblings. I would say publicly from people that cover the Kansas Jayhawks, that appears to be the conversation right now. is that Bill Self is no longer going to be commanding the sidelines for the Kansas Jayhawks. I want to play one more cut for you guys, and I want to get Rob's opinion on this as a Kansas basketball fan and season ticket holder, what this means for the Kansas basketball program. But here is Mike Vernon. He was on the midday show earlier. He was asked what he believes the timeline would be for Bill Self and his decision. Here's what he said.
I think they expect it to be pretty quick here. I would think that internally they'd, and for the players, because they kind of need to make their plans too, something here probably before the end of the week is what it sounded like. I don't know when things will be public, probably shortly after that. But that's kind of the expectation, that it would go pretty quick. Self said he wanted to get back home, talk with his family, and I think it's mostly a health decision for him on if it's a good idea to keep doing this. So again, not final, but just kind of the expectation around KU that it would go quick and that they would let players start making plans.
Just to give you guys an idea on the timeline in college basketball, the college basketball transfer portal opens up on Tuesday, April 7th. So that is a day after the national championship. The portal is then open. The portal is open from the 7th up until April 21st. Now, that is just your intention to enter the portal. You obviously can commit after the window is open, but if you're going to throw your hat in the ring on if you are going to transfer or if you are not going to transfer, you have between April 7th and April 21st to be able to make that decision. So you have all the respect in the world for Bill Self and what he has accomplished at the University of Kansas, but just as a basketball program and assuring that you are giving yourself the best chance for next season, you need to have an answer before the transfer portal just to get an idea of your own roster and who you need to keep. What's the decision going to look like for Bryson Tiller? What's the decision going to look like for Flory Bladunga? What the situation is going to look like for the rest of their roster? Who do you want to keep? Who are you fine with letting them hit the transfer portal? And also starting to get a mindset of who would you like to go acquire in the portal and build it around your recruiting class? So obviously, step one is, what is the future with your head coach? What does that look like with your head coach? Is this going to be something internal? Is this going to be something external? And Rob, I want to get your opinion coming up after this on who some of the potential candidates are going to be, and also starting to position yourself for the offseason. Man, this stuff happens quick. You got less than 2 weeks before the transfer portal gets going. So you got to make decisions here really, really quickly as a program about what you want to do and what it looks like so you can feel the most competitive team for next season. I know it seems like Kansas has a lot of time. They really don't have a lot of time in trying to figure all of this out.
That's why I think if Bill Self is to retire or not retire, I don't know. I have not talked to anyone. I'm not in the know. I am not, big J journalism reporter guy. I do this for a living. But it does feel like Mike Vernon is saying that right now he is hearing it is leaning in one direction. You hear what Bill Self said in post game. You combine that with the health scares he's had. It does feel like there's some, I don't say momentum, but there's some energy of it could be happening. And if it does happen, I think for Kansas' sake, it needs to happen soon. They need an answer either way. It can't be, you mentioned the portal's 7th. It can't be the Monday of the national title game, Bill Self's making an announcement. That timeline becomes a problem to hire the next coach, because the next coach might want to change the staff. The next coach might want to evaluate what's on the roster, might want to evaluate who has signed a letter of intent if he wants to keep those players. They might have to make a decision on recruiting Stokes, the top recruit in the there's a lot that has to be done in a short timeline. So when you consider that this week is the Sweet 16 and the portal is 2 weeks away, I feel like we'll have a decision one way or another by the end of the week, because I don't think Kansas or Bill Self or anyone surrounding the program wants this lingering into the offseason where, hey, you hired blank, but you lost Flory because it took too long to get the decision-making going.
100%. I mean, the transfer portal opens up in exactly 2 weeks from today. Like, we are almost done with the college basketball season. We have 2 more weekends left of the sport. I would say to Bill, as respectfully as you can, as Travis Goff, as an administration, as a program, Take a week. Go wherever you need to go. Go to Hawaii, go to Costa Rica, go to Oklahoma, wherever you feel like you need to go. Turn off your phone, disconnect, and let us know a week from today by March 31st what your plan is and what your intentions are. That then gives us the opportunity to put a list together. We're still Kansas. There really isn't a job that's comparable that's out there other than North Carolina, and we'll see if that job opens up. There seems to be conflicting reports on if that job's going to be available. But outside of North Carolina, there is no other job that you are really competing with. So it might not be a lot of time, but you also are not in a rush because you're Kansas. So I would imagine this gives time for Travis Goff and his team to put a list together of realistic candidates for them to go get to. We all know how this game's work. You can do some back channeling to find out if certain guys are available. Just because these teams are still in the NCAA tournament, their agents are still behind the scenes working. So if you want to put a call into Michigan and Dusty May and his agent, if you want to put a call into Tommy Lloyd in Arizona, you can start to do that with back channels to give yourself a little bit of time and in preparation. And if Bill makes the decision to stay, great. I would keep that list in your back pocket. I don't believe this is something that we're going to be doing now every March. I think Bill is either coming back or he is coming back in a Travis Kelce sense, and everybody knows that this is his last season. I don't think Bill has 3 more years on a Kansas sideline. I think Bill might have 12 more months at a maximum coaching Kansas. So if you are not prepared now, you need to spend all of 2026 heading into 2027 preparing yourself for we are going to have to move forward as an organization. Kansas has had an incredible run. They have had the same coach since 2003. They have won 2 national championships. They have been to 4 Final Fours during that time. They have won 17 Big 12 championships during this time. They have had unprecedented success. But it feels to me like either the page is going to turn in 7 days with Kansas or in 12 months. But it does feel like we are on the 17th or potentially 18th hole when it comes to Bill Self. Coming up on the other side, Rob, I'm curious to get your thoughts on who some of the potential candidates could potentially be. If Bill is going to step down, they have 2 obvious in-house candidates to replace Bill Self. And then there's a list of about 4 or 5 people, I think, outside of the building that makes sense at Kansas. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
Here they come. A baseball-sized hailstorm means every roofer for 500 miles is on his way here to ring your doorbell. Before that happens, go online to jrstormcheck.com and relax. JR & Company is locally owned, veteran-owned, and family-owned. JR & Company offers a lifetime warranty on workmanship. But best of all, JR & Company offers a free Class 4 shingle upgrade. What does that mean? Most insurance companies offer premium discounts on Class 4 shingles. Remember, no roofer can legally offer to pay your deductible, but a free shingle upgrade can reduce premiums for years to come. Why do we do this? Because we can. A lifetime workmanship warranty and free shingle upgrade. It's why we say,
You're always better with a roof from JR.
just visit jrstormcheck.com.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
The weather is changing, so that means spring is here and baseball season is right around the corner. FanDuel is letting you choose your own reward for opening week. Betting customizations that transform how you experience baseball. I can't remember the last time that optimism was this high heading into the baseball season, and you're not going to want to miss the action with America's #1 sportsbook app, FanDuel. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready on your next MLB bet. FanDuel is the home for home runs, exciting plays, and now that you can choose your own reward for opening week, baseball just got more exciting. The Royals are making the playoffs this year. You saw how they performed in the World Baseball Classic, so get in on the action early. Are you ready to play your game? Head to FanDuel.com/local to choose your reward for MLB's opening week. FanDuel is an official partner of MLB and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and total expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Baseball is back. Opening night is one exclusive game, and it's live on Netflix. On Wednesday, March 25th, the New York Yankees, led by 7-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the Bay Area to face Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. A brand new way to watch Major League Baseball, and it all starts here. MLB opening night, Yankees vs. Giants, live on Netflix, Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
During Lowe's Pro Savings Days, save more on what goes into the job. Add power to your lineup with a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt max tool. Plus, get up to 35% off select major appliances from Whirlpool, Maytag, and more. Get the job done right. Keep more in your pocket. That's Pro Savings Days. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/27. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
It is not hard to destroy a college.
Last season, the podcast Campus Files brought you stories of fraternity drug rings, stolen body parts, campus cults, and more.
And now, Campus Files is back for another season.
There's a guy screaming into his phone. He's like, I just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated right in front of me.
Every week is a new episode and a new story.
It was so chaotic.
It's almost like a university under siege.
Listen to and follow Campus Files, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right, so we are talking about the possibility that Bill Self is going to step down. Mike Vernon was on the midday show earlier. For my money, and I got respect for Matt Tate, I got respect for Shreyas, who was on the show yesterday, people that are day in, day out. I think Mike Vernon is the most knowledgeable person about the inner workings of Kansas athletics. There is not a person who covers Kansas basketball who has been more on top of it, who has delivered more scoops recently than Mike Vernon. So if he is hearing that Self is on the way out, I believe him.
The latest that I'm hearing is kind of this expectation or reality, or at least preparation around KU, that Bill Self will not be back next year. But I don't think a final decision has been made yet, or at least last I had heard. It was as of yesterday. So we're still 24, 36 hours at that time away from, a emotional, painful tournament loss. But the initial thoughts were that may be his last game at Kansas.
All right. So, Rob, I want to give you the chance to go first on this. Text line 913-586-7965. Who are some names of potential candidates that you would throw out there to replace Bill Self, because some of the names that I've seen, now this is me removing my objective sports talk brain and my Missouri fan brain. If you were telling me that Tad Boyle's going to be the next coach of Kansas, I am ecstatic. I'll help Tad Boyle move to Lawrence if that's the plan. If the plan is to go get Danny Manning and we got to keep this thing in-house, I will help Danny Manning move to Lawrence if this is the case. I will help. If we are going to go from, hey, let's swing big and go get Tommy Lloyd, let's swing big and go get Dusty May, and now we'll take Tad Boyle, great. Yes. Thrilled. Finally. This streak we have of making the NCAA tournament could fall if that is the case. Now, let me get back to normal. Let me get back in my bag here. I don't want you guys to forget that you cheer for Kansas. You know what you should do? You should shoot higher than Tad Boyle, who has never made it past the second round of the NCAA tournament. And he has been a head coach since 2006. Just because he went to Kansas and was an assistant, I don't care. He's never made it to the second weekend of the NCAA, not even on accident. He's never made it before. Please don't do this. Danny Manning. Yes, I know Danny Manning and the miracles, and he was great, phenomenal. Danny Manning is not a good head coach. He's never won a game in the NCAA tournament. He did a decent job at Tulsa. He then parlayed that job into Tulsa into he was the head coach at Wake Forest. He got an opportunity at Maryland. So he was at a Power 4 job. He never won 20 games. He never made the NCAA tournament. Do I got to remind you guys that you're Kansas, that you should shoot higher than getting Danny Manning to be your head coach? You can shoot higher than Tad Boyle to be your head coach. Hell, if that's the case, just hire the head coach at Washburn if you're going to do that. Do that. Hire him. That makes more sense to me than hiring either one of those guys. Rob, you're the KU fan. I don't want to get all worked up about this because, again, I'd help move Danny Manning in. Let's go through the in-house options, and then we'll go to the out-of-house options. We'll go to the out-of-the-program options. What's the issue with Jacques Vaughn? Is there something that I'm missing? Jacques Vaughn has been a head coach at two different places. He has been an assistant for the Spurs, been an assistant with the Nets, also an assistant at Kansas. He is one of the best point guards in program history. He currently is on the bench. I don't really know why Jacques Vaughn is not the hands-down, odds-on favorite to make the transition, somebody who has coaching chops and coaching acumen, somebody who knows what it means to be a Jayhawk and understands the system, who can obviously communicate to the boosters and the donors. I don't know why everybody is just not on board with Jacques Vaughn.
I think there are only two in-house candidates for your question. It's either he or Jeremy Case, and I think he is the better of the two candidates than Jeremy Case because he has head coaching experience. But it's not like his NBA coaching experience, it went gangbusters. That's probably the knock on Jacques Vaughn, is he's been a head coach twice in the NBA, once in Orlando and once in Brooklyn. And he has a losing record. Now, the NBA is different. I get that. He went to the playoffs twice and lost in the first round both times. And if you're saying, well, it's the NBA, he didn't have any talent. Man, the 2022 Nets were not short on talent. I believe that was the team that had the big three, right? Wasn't that That was
KD Durant Harden.
KD Durant Harden. He coached the KD Durant Harden team, and they lost in the first round. So I think some of the knock on Vaughn is we've seen him as a head coach, and it hasn't been exactly great. Now I think he is the best of all the in-house candidates, and I think if he got hired, KU fans would be happy. There would be questions around the program. Is it Hubert Davis Part 2, just in Lawrence? Is it, whomever Part 2 in Lawrence? I don't know. But of the in-house candidates, he makes the most sense. It's just his success in the NBA was very limited, and that would be cause for concern. He also has never been a college head coach. It's a very different sport than the NBA as well.
I'm with you. Very, very fair. What do you make of Jeremy Case? He is 41 years old. I would say that this is in the John Shire mold. You hire a young coach, and if it works, you never have to worry about him leaving. Jon Scheyer is not going anywhere other than the NBA. I mean, maybe one day he gets the itch and he wants to be the coach of the Boston Celtics. Can't really stop that from happening if you were Duke. But Jon Scheyer will never interview for another college job. He played at Duke. He was an assistant at Duke. He was the coach in waiting. Where else are you going? There's no better place to go than where you are. I would say that Jeremy Case is in the exact same context. He played at Kansas. He was an assistant at Kansas. He then came back and was an assistant. It makes all the sense in the world to me why, if you want to hire a 41-year-old and you want to potentially bet on the future, why Jeremy Case would be the answer.
Jeremy Case is exactly that. His ceiling is Jon Scheyer. But as a Kansas fan, can I tell you that it'd be nerve-wracking to go from Roy Williams, Bill Self, to guy with literally zero head coaching experience. Jacque Vaughn has, like I mentioned, NBA coaching experience. It hasn't been great success in the NBA, but he has been a head coach. This year, when Bill Self missed a game against Colorado because of health issues, Jacque Vaughn was the head coach. They didn't even give that game to Jeremy Case. Jeremy Case was on the staff when Bill Self had to serve his 6-game Adidas suspension. Jeremy Case was on the staff when Bill Self had the heart issue in 2023 in the NCAA tournament. They never even made him the fill-in, hey, be the guy. So one of the knocks on Jeremy Case is zero head coaching experience. Not even like a interim 6 games. He did a nice job like Sharon Moore had done for Jim Harbaugh. Zero head coaching experience, I think, would scare some KU fans away from Jeremy Case. You're right. His ceiling is Scheyer. His basement is Matt Doherty. I guess that would be the comparison for North Carolina.
I'm going to throw a name out there. Now, I know you are instantly going to shoot down this name. I know you, but I mean this seriously. I'm not joking. I think he has clearly shown that he can coach. And if you gave him the resources and the cachet that I believe that Kansas provides, I think he would have a lot of success. Do you think Kansas would hire Will Wade? I don't know if there is a better, more realistic coach they could hire than Will Wade. Now, he is going to operate in the gray area. I would argue that's also college basketball is operating in the gray area. I know that the belief is going to be we're Kansas, we can get anybody. But I don't take that job if I'm Dusty May. Why would I take that job? I'm in a great spot that gives me almost literally all the advantages that Kansas does. All the advantages. Yes, Kansas is a better program than what Michigan is. But I've got a major metropolitan area right here in Detroit. We're a national brand, a national fan base. Right now, in terms of being able to pool dollars from places, we are in a very, very good conference that might be the best conference to recruit in when it comes to the Big Ten. I found a real comfortable home here, and I also don't have the expectations that come with living up to everything it means to be the head coach at Kansas. I mean, they went from Larry Brown, Roy Williams, to Bill Self. You got to now replace that guy. I don't know if I take that job if I'm Dusty May. I listen. I think you have to listen to Kansas. In the end, I think I just stay where I am. I would also argue the exact same thing about Tommy Lloyd. All the advantages that you feel Kansas has to offer, I've shown I can get kids down to Florida. I got Koa Pete here. I got Braden Berries here. I've shown I can win at Arizona and win at a high level. I think they're going to win the national championship this year. I don't think you're winning the national championship and then leaving to go to another program. So I don't know if those two guys make a lot of sense. Would Todd Golden leave and take that job? Let's see if that happens. But Will Wade makes a lot of sense to me. If you are a team, he's 43 years old. He has shown an ability to win everywhere. The rules are different now, so you don't even have to cheat to go get kids. He's going to get kids and has shown that he can win at every single stop. I don't know if there's a better candidate to go get than Will Wade.
Now, this is going to be, you know how you joked earlier about helping Tad Boyle pack with full, Mizzou jokes. This may be my Kansas hubris showing. I think Kansas can get a better coach than Will Wade. I don't think Will Wade's a bad candidate. Now, I also think it's worth noting it wasn't just recruiting violations like the old school. He got popped in 2020. So, it wasn't that long ago, and he had to serve a show cause. So, he's a little bit more than dirt under the fingernails with his time at LSU.
I would say that's college basketball, though. That just doesn't bother me. And maybe this is my hubris of looking at it from a Missouri fan where I don't mind getting in the mud, where Kansas feels like they're above getting in the mud. But this is the game in college athletics.
You say
Like,
that,
this is
but
the game.
You say that Mizzou has always has historically stayed above the fray when it comes to hiring.
They hired Frank Haith.
That's true.
Frank Haith, who was low rent Will Wade. I wish they just hired the real version of Will Wade if they were going to do all that. If they were gonna do that, they should have just cheated outright.
I guess you're right. But since Frank Haith, it's been the most squeaky clean run of guys at Mizzou. So I hear what you're saying, but clearly dirt under the fingernails, like a better term, does scare coaches, does scare ADs away from certain coaches. And pure hubris. I think KU can get a better candidate than Will Wade.
Give me one that's realistic.
Even if you take Tommy Lloyd and Dusty May off the list, which I do think both of them are 100% on the list. If you take Todd Golden off the list.
Would you take that job if you're the head coach at Arizona?
Yes. Kansas is a better job than Arizona.
I don't agree, but I guess
it's not light years better, but it is a better job.
I don't disagree, but my complaint would be the same way that we've seen in college football. When the LSU job came open, yes, LSU, I think you could argue that LSU is the second best job in college football. I think Ohio State is number one, and then we can argue. Georgia's a really good job. Atlanta's right there. You got New Orleans. LSU is a really good job. But, man, if you don't win the national championship in 3 years at LSU, if you're Lane Kiffin, you are constantly living on the hot seat. Florida was just available. We think Florida's an incredible job in college football, a top 10 job. Rod, they hired Tulane's head coach. So I'm not telling you that I don't think Kansas is a good job. It is obviously a really good job. But I would say there is not a program in college basketball that has much higher expectations than that job. So if you go into it and you don't have that thing rocking and rolling in the first 2-3 years and you are not living up to the standard that KU fans are used to, it is stressful. You know what I know will happen in Arizona? Let's say Arizona loses in the second week or the first weekend the next 2 years. Nothing happens at Arizona if you're Tommy Lloyd. You're going to do better than Tommy Lloyd. If you're Tommy Lloyd and you lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament in year one, they're talking about firing you at Kansas, and the fan base is turned on you. That's where I just think now, especially when you can recruit from anywhere with the transfer portal. If your NIL situation is good, I think you're starting to see guys that if I'm a guy like Eli Drinkwitz, for example, wait, hold on. I can stay at Missouri. I can get paid like I'm at Florida, but I don't have the Florida expectations. And as long as I win 7-8 games, I keep everybody off my back and everybody's happy. I think you're seeing a lot of guys are choosing to stay where they are as opposed to, even though it's a better job, I got all the resources here. I need to go out and have success.
The question would be, is Arizona, I liked your Lane Kiffin example, is Arizona Ole Miss, same conference, a lot of resources, less pressure, but that's it's just a better job. So you got to take the better job. That would be the way that I would pitch if I'm Kansas Tommy Lloyd. Lane Kiffin left the perfect situation. Lane Kiffin could have been a hero in Oxford forever, and he made the jump. There is a difference in Kansas versus Arizona. It's small, but there is a difference. I also think Dusty May is a candidate. Now, the Michigan job's not near as good as Kansas. I think Dusty May is a really good coach, and he checks a lot of the boxes. He's obviously a candidate at Kansas.
He'd be a home run swing.
He and Lloyd are the big grand slam home run swings.
For sure. I mean, 100%. I mean, I'm looking at it right here. I mean, the last 4 years of him as a basketball coach, he has also shown he can win anywhere.
FAU, he had a team in the Final Four.
They went to the Final Four at Florida Atlantic. They won 25 games the next year. He's taken over in Michigan. They went 27-10 last year. They are 33-3 this year, and they might be the favorite to win the national championship this year. Dusty May. So that's why I guess I would throw this out there, and I think it would require a little bit of patience. Is there that candidate out there? Because Michigan, when their job was open, they didn't go take Arizona's head coach. They didn't go take North Carolina State's head coach. They took Florida Atlantic's coach, a guy who was showing a lot of upward mobility, and then decided to stay here. Like, if you're Kansas, is it better to make the phone call to St. Louis? And yes, that coach decided he was going to stay at St. Louis. We're Kansas. You're telling us no? You've shown you can win at this level. Come here and have whatever you need. Whatever resources you need to go win, we will give them to you. Is it better to go potentially try to find that guy? Because that's what Michigan did. Michigan went and found the up-and-coming, I wanted Florida Atlantic, and now if you give me Michigan's resources, I can win a national championship.
I think for me, and again, could be Kansas hubris showing, but for me, I think for an analogy is KU basketball, their hiring pool is not guys who have been good managers. They are hiring people who are CEOs at smaller companies, and you come bump up a level. Michigan's a good job, but you're always number 2 there if you're Dusty May. You are never the biggest deal on campus at Michigan, and there have been really good Michigan basketball teams. They do not ever rise above the football program. At Kansas, you have everything, and you're number 1. And if you're Kansas, you don't need to hire the CFO of a small company and hope that one day he can be a great CEO. Just hire a great CEO. Poach another person. You're Kansas. You're the people that poach. You're LSU football. You're Ohio State football. You get to poach. You don't have to pick from these lower levels if you don't have to. So I think those are 2 candidates. Todd Golden's an interesting name to me, but Todd Golden's got some off-the-court issues that I know he's been exonerated from, but there was some stuff, and it's not like
potential Mr. Nasty Man.
It wasn't recruiting violations. It was potential Mr. Nasty Man. Also, I know he has a title. Todd Golden's tournament success is pretty limited as a head coach. He's basically a second round exit guy plus 1 national title. But Todd Golden's definitely a candidate. I also think now, once you get out that first tier, people like TJ Otzelberger at Iowa State, people like Grant McCaskill at Texas Tech start becoming candidates. I think if you're Kansas, you start, sussing out people who are having a lot of success at that, Illinois type of level. May not literally Brad Underwood, but you find people from that level of college basketball and you try to bring them in. So I think there is a longer list than people think, but I think Kansas has the ability to pull anyone. Now, I'm saying that, again, knowing that 2 years ago I watched Kentucky say the same thing, and they ended up with BYU's coach.
A lot of people said no to Kentucky, I think, because of the expectations, and just decided to stay there. You're right. Kentucky was in this exact same situation. After losing John, they couldn't wait to get John Calipari out of there. And they did, and a lot of prime candidates just said, no, I'm going to stay where I am. I'm good. I want to be here. Are you in favor of Ben McCollum? I bring that up because, A, I don't think he plays a very exciting brand of basketball. And
That's an understatement.
I think that Kansas fans are used to a very exciting brand of basketball. I think they are used to it. I don't think that's what Ben McCollum plays. I think he plays a very ground and pound, grinded out kind of basketball. I think that's what they do. And I wonder how hard it's going to be to get Ben McCollum to leave. I mean, this would be Ben McCollum's 4th school in 4 years. He's also from Iowa City. He's from Iowa City and played college basketball in Iowa. I think it's going to be really hard to convince Ben McCollum to leave. Now, Kansas is a better job than Iowa, no question. But you're from Iowa City. You just got there. You want to plant some roots. You're tired of moving. I mean, this will be 2024, Northwest Missouri State. 2024, so ended season in 2024. Was at Drake for 1 year. Left Drake to go to Iowa. This will be 4 schools in 4 years for Ben McCollum. I don't know if Ben is just jumping to take that move, but maybe he is. He seems very close with Bennett Sturts. Sturts is about to go off to the NBA, and a lot of those kids that you had all the success with at Drake and Iowa are going to move on. Maybe Ben McCollum makes some sense at Kansas.
So I'm torn here on Ben McCollum because on one side, I think his resume is that would make sense for Kansas. I think a lot of what you just said makes sense. I do get a little worried about the lack of Division I experience, like no disrespect to Northwest, but winning at Northwest is different than winning at Drake or even Iowa. So I'd be a little bit hesitant to have him be the guy. I also, and this is where I'm just going to be selfish, I agree with you. I'm a season ticket holder. I don't want to watch them win games 54-49. It's awful. It's just awful. It's a successful brand of basketball. Do not get me wrong. But you are never winning a recruiting battle for Tyron Stokes when you're winning 61-63.
Yeah, when you're just operating solely in the half court.
When you're dribbling the ball for 28 seconds and then getting a shot up, even if it goes in, it just selfishly, I understand he's a good candidate. Selfishly, I do not want to see that style of basketball for 40 games a season, every dribble. So I'm a no on Ben McCollum, but I'm a no not because of his resume or ability. I'm a no because his style just frustrates me to watch.
Yeah, I'm just you guys, I would say Kansas plays a very exciting brand. Like, think of the point guards and the players that they recruit at. That is not going to be Ben McCollum. That is not how he's operates, not how he's had success. That is just not at all how he's done this. We'll get back to Kansas coming up in the show. I would say one of our favorite things to talk about on this show are NFL contracts. And boy, Jackson Smith and Jibba got absolutely paid yesterday. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Xfinity Tech Support. Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
Feeling the heat? Don't sweat it. Turn to Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling. With temperatures rising, now's the time to make sure your AC is ready to keep you cool. Whether it's your home or your business, Comfort Systems services both residential and commercial systems across the Kansas City area. Call today for a fast tune-up, repair, or a system upgrade so you can stay cool all summer long. Family owned and operated since 1990. Comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
Some things just go together, like peanut butter and jelly, or a Casey's spicy chicken sandwich and a 49-cent medium fountain drink, or a Casey's breakfast sandwich and a 49-cent fountain drink, or even Casey's limited time hot ham and Swiss sliders and a 49-cent fountain drink. You get the idea. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So, even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code WAGON for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WAGON for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's WAGON.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty.
Wait,
what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This afternoon, expect partly sunny skies with a high of 66.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Now, JSN absolutely earned that money. He deserved that money. And in no way am I comparing JSN to Rashee Rice. But like any profession, if I see somebody else doing the exact same job that I'm doing, and I see the kind of money that they're getting to, that would make you want to clean up your act to possibly go get to this money too. I mean, JSN just got a 4-year, $168 million extension. He got $70 million fully guaranteed at signing. And out of that 168, 120 million of it is guaranteed. If you're a receiver right now and you see that kind of number, and that doesn't want to make you go outside and hit the jugs machine, then nothing will. If that kind of money doesn't make you get up and want to live a completely different life, start eating differently, training differently, going to sleep on time, when you know the kind of money they're out here paying wide receivers, then nothing will motivate you to be able to do it. One thing that I'm frustrated about is we are in the offseason. We're headed towards just hey, once we get past the draft, there's no more news for a while. We should be spending this offseason talking about how Rashee Rice is finally healthy, heading into a contract year, and ready to put together the best season of his life. But that's not the conversation we're having. For basically the last 2 years, we have either been talking about Rashee Rice's personal life and misdealings, or him recovering from an injury. That's all we've been talking about for 2 years. Rashee, you got maybe 10 more months on the Kansas City Chiefs. You're in an ideal situation. This is a team now that is going to have something that you've never had, an ability to run the football, which takes pressure off of you and makes your job a lot easier. You got the best quarterback in the world, hungry, ready to compete. Travis Kelce is back. You got an offensive coordinator who every player in the league respects, with the track record of just getting guys in line. Rashee, everything is working in your favor to put it together and have a big time kind of season. And if you needed outside motivation, look at the money they're giving these wideouts.
A new highest paid receiver in the NFL. Didn't take that long. It is JSN. You mentioned the numbers, $42+ million per year. That is the new money average. Also gets, you mentioned, $69 million fully guaranteed, $35 million in a signing bonus, $120 million in total guarantees, leapfrogging Jamar Chase as the new highest paid in the NFL. It's not just that JSN is productive, although obviously he is. He represents so much of what Seattle wants to do. Free agency came and went. That was last week, and 2 weeks ago. What we saw from Seattle was several of their key stars walk away to big money deals to other teams. The reason why is because the Seahawks needed room for this guy, just like they needed room for Charles Cross, just like they'll need room for Devin Witherspoon, just like next year they'll need room for Byron Murphy. This is what general manager John Schneider and Seattle wants to do. Draft, develop, and be able to pay their big-time superstars. And another one got paid in huge fashion.
Rashee, I want to give you one more stat, brother. This is why. I saw this stat a couple of days ago. This is from Robert Mays. He works for The Ringer. Wide receiver average salaries that account for at least 10% of their team's salary cap. Back in 2016, Rob, there was one wide receiver that accounted for 10% of his team's salary cap. In 2026, so 10 years later, there are 13 wide receivers in the National Football League that account for 10% of their team's salary cap. They're giving money away if you're a productive wide receiver. Even if you're not going to get number one money, they're giving Mike Evans. Mike Evans played in college with Johnny Manziel. You know how long ago that was? They're giving old Mike Evans. He's getting $20-something million a year. Cooper Kupp, his body is broken down. He was hurt for like 3 years. Cooper Kupp's getting $26 million a year to play wide receiver. Rasheed, if you could just put it together for 1 year, no nonsense, no getting in trouble, eating your vegetables, drinking your milk, in bed by 8 o'clock, put up a monster season that you have 1,300 yards next year. You become a true, legitimate number one wideout. You either get franchise tagged by Kansas City, and the franchise tag right now for a wide receiver is $27 million, or you're able to hit free agency and you go get paid like you're Calvin Ridley. Rob, I don't understand how these young boys are thinking these days. Keep your hands to yourself. Make better decisions. Stay out of trouble. If you look at how much money they gave Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce has one season where he caught more than 50 balls. He has one season in which he had 1,000 yards. He got $116 million this offseason. All you got to do is put it together for 1 year. He can't even do that.
I mean, he fumbled the chance to have that bag a long, long time ago. Like, after his first season, that bag was fumbled. I mean, the minute that story came out about what happened in Dallas with the car, it was over.
Fumble.
It was done. He was never touching that money. I also don't think he's near as talented as JSN. JSN's being paid like he's Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
My point is, you don't even got to be the number one guy. You can be like the 17th best receiver in the National Football League and still get $120 million right now. If you show, it's turning into quarterback a little bit. Supply and demand, I get it. But if you show that you can throw, somebody will just hand you $40 million. Malik Willis threw like 32 passes the last 2 years at Green Bay. He just got $100 million for the Dolphins. If you show that you can run a decent route and catch the ball, somebody will pay you. Maybe it's not the team you want to pay you, but somebody will give you a little bit of money. If I'm his agent, we got to sit down. We got to have an intervention. We got to have an intervention like Chris on The Sopranos. Can you hold it together for 10 months? If you can hold it together for 10 months, I will help get you generational wealth. That's what I can do. I help get you generational wealth. We've seen George Pickens quit on 2 teams. He quit on Pittsburgh. He showed up 90 minutes before a game. Just showed up in 90 minutes. He quit on Dallas last year. Still got franchise tagged. You just got to ball out for 1 season. And I can change your life if you can do that. I don't even know if Rice is capable of that right now. I really don't. He hasn't really given me the benefit of the doubt to make me think that he can hold it together for 10 months.
He's had 3, maybe 4 news stories in 3 years. He had the race car incident. That's what I'll call it in Dallas. He still has to serve time for that, by the way. Sure. That all happened. He then, do you want to separate the Instagram post from the civil lawsuit, or are they one and the same?
Thing, yeah.
Okay, so he had that, and I know it went away, but remember that he was pushing on that photographer from TMZ in a nightclub? Like, that's just since 2023. It's 2026. It's 3 for 3 incidents. I hope he can, get his life together and stop being in the news for all the reasons you shouldn't be in the news. But indications are he will find himself in the news again for things you don't want to be in the news in as an NFL player.
I don't know, man. He
should have known that coming out of college. The receiver market was exploding when he was drafted. Hey, don't be an idiot, and you can be Alec Pierce money. Apparently never clicked because he's never seeing Alec Pierce money at this point in time. He's going to get a 1-year prove-it deal from someone in 12 months. That's what his future holds.
For sure. I'm 100% with you. I think, honestly, now, I think he can get better than a 1-year prove-it deal. You just got to hold it together. That's all you got to do is hold it together. But you're right. I haven't really seen much evidence that would suggest that you have the ability to hold it together. Coming up in the next hour of the show, Robbie Hummel had some comments about Darren Peterson. I want to play that for you in the 3 o'clock hour of the show. I also want to talk about, this was something that we planned on talking about, and then March Madness just kind of crept up on me. But now, we got a little bit of time here. I figured out exactly who Rob wants the Chiefs to be. I figured it out. We've had all these conversations about he likes this move, he doesn't like this move, I would have done this move, they should have done this. And I was really sitting here and I was thinking of all of the teams in the NFL, and I figured out who Rob wants the Chiefs to be. I'll tell you who that is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Whether you're commuting to work or heading out for a fast coffee break, getting an auto insurance quote is just a tap away. With AAA, you're always connected, so you can focus on the road ahead. Rest easy knowing AAA's got you covered, no matter where life takes you. AAA, we're always with you. To start your quote, visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
It's March, and that means there's no better time to start betting with Circa Sports. It doesn't matter how you're planning on betting the mayhem. Picking individual games, futures to make it through the bracket, props on your favorite players, or more. Circa Sports has you covered. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Download the Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable Speeds to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
The season starts at Rally House. From jerseys and hats to tumblers for game day, it's where outrageous selection meets every fan's style.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State, Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, it's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Level up your fandom in-store or online at rallyhouse.com.
When Kansas City storms roll through, hail and wind can damage your roof without you even realizing it. If your home was hit, call us at Century Roofing for a free inspection today. We handle every step with your insurance company, making the process stress-free and easy for you. For over 35 years and more than 35,000 roofs, we've been protecting Kansas City homes. Let us protect yours. Trust the pillars of strength with KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
Bring the flavor home with Gates. Gates seasonings are perfect for everything: meat, chicken, fish, and veggies. Sprinkle it on or mix it in to enhance your favorite dips and dressings. Don't forget, Gates sauces and seasonings are available at your local grocery store, so you can enjoy that rich, smoky taste anytime. Visit any of their 5 locations to dine in. Pick up or grab a Gates party tray for your Easter gathering. Celebrating 80 years of serving Kansas City. Gates Barbecue. Thanks with love.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions. March special is a toilet tune-up. New fill valve, flapper seal, and supply pipe for only $199. I can assure you that we are competitive. We show up and do what we say we will. We would love to win you over. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Brought to you by Kalshi. Trade on anything. March matchups are here. Trade the tournament in all 50 states on Kalshi. Duke is trading at 19% to win it all. A $100 trade pays out $498 if they win. Arizona and Michigan are trading at 22%. Download the Kalshi app and use code FAN to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Burns on Deck show for the Royals home opener against the Twins on March 30th starts at 2. First pitch just after 3. All right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
Rob is my brother. He's my guy. Sometimes Rob and I have disagreements on roster building, and that's going to happen from time to time. When you have as many sports conversations that we have, we don't always see things the same way. It hit me last week as I was getting ready for the show, and I'm tracking all the moves, and I'm seeing what's going on. I know exactly who Rob wants the Chiefs to be. Rob would be the general manager of the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to go through these moves really quickly for you guys and tell me this is not what Rob would do. Their big swing was Jalen Phillips last week. Now, that is who Rob wanted the Chiefs to go out and get, and I was not in favor of going to get Jalen Phillips. You want to know why I wasn't in favor of getting Jalen Phillips? He had 5 sacks last year. He had 1 sack in 2024. He had 6.5 sacks in 2023. He got 4 years, $120 million and $80 million in guarantees to be an incredibly underwhelming player. But he's young. He's a pass rusher. He hit free agency, so he got paid. You know, Rob loves to keep a draft pick. He wouldn't trade a draft pick for anything. Carolina got a backup quarterback. They didn't spend a draft pick. They got Kenny Pickett. They signed Kenny Pickett on a 1-year, $7.5 million deal. $4 million guaranteed. Now, they did sign a linebacker. I mean, teams can't be perfect, you know. Now, they paid a linebacker 3 years, $45 million. Not what Rob would have done. At running back, they went out and they got A.J. Dillon. Didn't spend any money on him. Got him on a 1-year, super cheap kind of deal. They got John Mechie. You guys remember him. He went to Alabama. He was in Houston. Wasn't really getting a whole lot of run with Houston. Now he joined Carolina on a 1-year deal. Rob, now that I'm looking at it, this is what you wanted the Chiefs to do. You wanted them to spend really big on a pass rusher. That's what they did going to get Jalen Phillips. Outside of that, it's a lot of 1-year deals for a wide receiver. They spent a 1-year deal on a running back. They got a backup left tackle as a plan. You want the Chiefs to be more like the Carolina Panthers, which sounds crazy when you think about it, but that's the offseason that you wish they had.
I mean, you say it sounds crazy, but that sounds like a very smartly and well-built team that is putting its pillars of the team through the draft. And then where you miss in the draft, you have to spend big-ticket items like Jalen Phillips. I do not dislike the Panthers offseason. Also, it's worth noting, you make fun of me, oh, Rob wants the Chiefs to be the Panthers. The Panthers did something last year that Brett Veach didn't do, have a playoff team.
Okay.
People forget the Panthers hosted a playoff game. The Panthers won their division.
Yeah, the Chiefs were in the SEC and the Panthers were in the MAC.
They were in CUSA, and they get to host a banner.
Yeah, they were in Conference USA last year.
They were High Point.
You cannot tell us that you like Carolina's offseason more than you like the Chiefs' offseason. The Chiefs' offseason is undeniably better than Carolina's offseason.
You're only saying that because what the Chiefs start from is a better starting spot. They have a better quarterback. They have a better coach. They have better infrastructure already built in. But if it's pure offseason to offseason, I don't think the Chiefs is that much better than the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, for the amount of money that they gave Jalen Phillips, you could get 3 players for the Chiefs. They gave him 4 years, $120 million. They got Kenneth Walker for less than 50. They got Alohi Gilman for less than this. I'd much rather have that than just signing Jalen Phillips if we're looking at their kinds of deals. Giving Jalen Phillips 4 years, $120 million when he has never had more than 8 sacks in a season is crazy, in my opinion. And those are usually contracts that bad teams give out. Those are not contracts that smart organizations give out. Philadelphia is not doing that. Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, that's a deal that a bad organization and a bad team gives out with Jalen Phillips.
I do think, that's kind of the nature of free agency. Like the Chiefs overpaid for Kenneth Walker. I think free agency is an overpay. So when you're paying a 25-year-old at a premium position, you have to super overpay. Like, I don't love the Jalen Phillips contract, but I like Jalen Phillips as a player better than like Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I don't.
I also think the Chiefs have yet to fill their biggest need, which is also astonishing considering it's almost April. That's one of the reasons I'm down the Chiefs offseason. You think their biggest need was running back? I thought it was pass rush.
I mean, I think it's a 1A, 1B. I don't
view it as 1A, 1B. And we just differ on that. That's fine.
But you and I are on the same point. I mean, it's a serious need for Kansas City. I don't want you to think that I don't think that it's important. But I've been on this side for the longest time. And I remember you yelling at me and calling me a hypocrite and saying I want to get younger and cheaper. And that is absolutely true at skill positions. I think there are exceptions to most rules. I've been on team, go spend a 1-year contract on an established veteran. Text line, you can vouch for me, 913-586-7965. I've been on this push from day one. Go get a Bosa, go get a Khalil Mack, go get a Cam Jordan, go use some of your assets to go get that individual, also attack it in the NFL draft, and then throw that into the mix. If you were telling me that their plan for pass rush in 2026 is Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Cam Jordan, either the 9th, 29th, or 40th pick, Omar Norman-Lott, and Ashton Gelati for 2026, I don't think that's a bad plan at pass rush. It's not the best defensive line in the National Football League. It's a clear upgrade over what you had last season, and I feel much more secure in their pass rush than I did last year. That's not a bad plan to me. And that plan is still open, by the way. Cam Jordan still sitting there. Bosa still sitting there if you want to go get him. If you want to spend the 1 year, $12 to $15 million on a guy who's 32 years or older, who's shown a history of getting to the quarterback, you can still make that move if you're Kansas City. And I think there's reason to believe they are going to make the Cam Jordan move. There's been a lot of smoke and innuendo and rumors about Cam Jordan. I think the Chiefs are seriously considering bringing him in.
I do think they're considering bringing in Cam Jordan. And I'm going to want to see the contract, but I'm going to wait to see what happens with the contract. But a 37-year-old at pass rusher does not seem like a fix to me. That seems like Terrell Suggs on the 2019 team. You just get a full season of him. It's a lot of names.
Let's not do that. Cam Jordan had 10 sacks last year. He had 10 just last season. He had 10.5 sacks. This is not Terrell Suggs, who is 6 months away from doing a podcast the way that he was.
Cam Jordan is 37.
10 sacks in last year's NFL.
Cam Jordan is definitely 6 months from a podcast. What 38-year-old's going to get a deal in the NFL at edge rusher?
He had twice as many sacks as the guy you're telling us the Chiefs should have went out and got. Jalen Phillips, in the prime of his career, young, 25 years old. He had 5 sacks. Old Cam Jordan with this old man post game and old man hand placement went out there and got 10.5 sacks. In the exact same National Football League. So just because you're the younger whippersnapper doesn't mean that you're the more productive player. And in last year's NFL, there is no question who the better defensive lineman is. So yes, I'm not here arguing that Cam Jordan is a long-term fix. He's obviously not that. You're right. He's 36 years old. He'll be 37 years old by the time the Chiefs get to Chiefs training camp. That's why you still need to spend a draft pick. I don't think you're solving your pass rush issues in one offseason, but you know what you could solve in one offseason? Running back. Running back is something they can very easily solve. You got Kenneth Walker. I still want them to spend a draft pick on a running back. I still want them to throw a little bit more resources. They don't got to spend a significant one, but take one of those fifth-round draft picks, throw it at running back, and hope you hit something there. You can solve your running back issues in one season. You were never going to solve pass rush. So their plan of, what I think their plan is, we're going to address this in the draft with one of our top 340 picks. We're going to address it in the draft. I will continue to maintain, go spend a 1-year veteran deal and hope that it can all come together. And I think you can patch work. I think you can put this defensive line together for 2026.
This is where it's me. I'm like sitting back here flabbergasted. You want a third running back this offseason? DeMercado and Kenneth Walker is too little. They've done not enough. They haven't fulfilled the position. They have Rashard Smith, Kenneth Walker, and I don't know. The first name is I'm happy to get DeMercado correctly pronunciation.
Emery, I think that's how you pronounce it.
They have 3 right now on the roster,
you need 4.
and that's too lit. You need 4 running backs. Okay.
They had 4 running backs last year. They just didn't use one of them ever.
They're gonna run. They're gonna triple option. They're gonna run the wishbone.
No,
next
but having
year?
a guy on a 5th-round pick that has a little bit of upside and a little bit of juice. Because next year, Rob, you know what's going to happen. They're going to lose DeMercado in free agency, and they're going to be back in this situation again. You know what will be good there if you got the 2 young guys with Rashard Smith, and you also got that 5th-round pick, and you know this will happen. Somebody gets hurt during the football season. This shouldn't come as a shock to anybody. I don't wish it on anybody, but we all watch these games. One of their wide receivers is going to get hurt this year. I don't know which one it is. Now, you guys will tell me whether it's a valid injury or not a valid injury based on how they get hurt, but one of their wide receivers will get hurt. Either they will be tackled by somebody on the other team or tackled by somebody on their own team, but they will get hurt. Somebody on their defensive line is going to get hurt. I know this comes as a shock to you guys. I promise you. Everybody that leaves St. Joe is not going to play in all 17 games, so preparing yourself for the injury is smart. Preparing yourself. That's what I want them to do. I want them, like Scar, to say, be prepared is what I want them to. You don't ever want them to be prepared for an injury. You don't ever want them to. I want them to.
I want them to have a starter on edge right now. Right
Yeah,
now,
I want them to have that too. Go get Cam Jordan. Get him out of the nursing home. Go get him out of the nursing home and say, hey, we need you, big dog. You can go work at NFL Network in 12 months. We'll help you. You and Kelsey can go work at NFL Network together. Come help us get a championship. Go out. Go out on top is what I'd be preaching to Cam Jordan. Come in here and get those 10.5 sacks. In fact, we won't even care. Show up August 15th. We know you're going to be ready to compete. That's what I would tell Cam Jordan if I was the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the team that I'm on right here. I'm on team go get Cam Jordan.
I'm team edge rusher, but I would have been team edge rusher on March 9th, not on March 24th. I wouldn't have been running back on March 9th because that seems like a poor allocation of resources. And now you're telling me they need a 4th. So I'm just they don't have a third wide out, but we got to get a 4th running back.
I mean, that's multiple picks. I'm not saying use all your picks on running back. You got 9 of them. You want them to draft 9 defensive linemen? No, go draft the tight end. Yes, they got 3 tight ends. They could use another tight end. I know. Go get another tight end. Go get another wide receiver. Go get another tackle. Prepare for the future. Draft all of these different positions. Take a bunch of swings. That's the side that I'm on. Coming up on the other side, we'll get back to college basketball. We'll get back to talking about Kansas. The top story is one of the top reporters for Kansas thinks that this is going to be the end for Bill Self. We'll get to it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
The weather is changing, so that means spring is here and baseball season is right around the corner. FanDuel is letting you choose your own reward for opening week. Betting customizations that transform how you experience baseball. I can't remember the last time that optimism was this high heading into the baseball season, and you're not going to want to miss the action with America's #1 sportsbook app, FanDuel. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready on your next MLB bet. FanDuel is the home for home runs, exciting plays, and now that you can choose your own reward for opening week, baseball just got more exciting. The Royals are making the playoffs this year. You saw how they performed in the World Baseball Classic, so get in on the action early. Are you ready to play your game? Head to FanDuel.com/local to choose your reward for MLB's opening week. FanDuel is an official partner of MLB and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and total expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, means you get safe, reliable service and peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour. March 26th, T-Mobile Center. The lights go down one final time. Tickets are on sale now at journeymusic.com. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures.
Everything and then some.
I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus.
One money pit with a side of fries.
But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders.
$125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 4/18 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car,
truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a stall now, 435 eastbound down at State Line. Right lane is blocked. Blue Springs, 70 eastbound just past Adams Dairy Parkway. 2 right lanes are blocked. It says a stalled vehicle, maybe a big truck, 70 eastbound past Adams Dairy Parkway. You do want to scoot to the left. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you. We're talking about the top story. I think this is purely an opinion. Nobody has told me this, but from behind the scenes rumbling, from on the scenes rumbling, I think Bill Self's going to retire. If you were asking me right now to look into the crystal ball and give a prediction, I think that Bill Self has coached his last game at Kansas. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think Bill is going to retire. Mike Vernon was on the show earlier today. He is as plugged into anybody when it comes to Kansas. He was asked which direction does he think Bill is leaning. This is what he said.
The latest that I'm hearing is kind of this expectation or reality, or at least preparation around KU, that Bill Self will not be back next year. But I don't think a final decision has been made yet, or at least last I had heard. It was as of yesterday. So we're still 24, 36 hours at that time away from, a emotional, painful tournament loss. But the initial thoughts were that may be his last game at Kansas.
I do want to add this part, Rob, to continue to get your opinion on this is I don't think there is a right answer to this question. In the same way that when we tell teams, well, you got to find a quarterback. Okay, well, all right, how do you do that? Well, you got to get the number 1 overall pick. I can give you plenty of examples of how getting the number 1 overall pick has worked at quarterback. I can give you plenty of examples of how having the number 1 overall pick failed at quarterback. Well, you got to pick in the top 10. I give you examples of when that worked for teams. I can give you examples of when it didn't work for a team. Well, you got to build through free agency. Can give you examples of how it worked. Can give you examples of how it didn't work. Any suggestion that people throw out for Kansas is a tremendous risk. The only risk, or the only risk-free option, is Bill continues to do it. Because I know Bill can do it. I've seen Bill do it successfully there for 20-something years. He is arguably the best at coaching Kansas basketball. But any other option that they choose, whether it is Jock Vaughn, whether they choose Jeremy Case, whether they go out and get the hottest mid-major. I mean, there was a time there where Shaka Smart was the hottest name in coaching. He was the VCU head coach. He went to the Final Four. He had all this success. He got the Texas job. You were thinking, you're going to take that coach, you're going to put him in this environment. I don't know how that guy doesn't go on an incredible run. He didn't go on an incredible run. But we've also seen that hot mid-major take over a job and then go on an incredible run and then end up staying there. There is no 100% fail-safe way to be able to do it. We saw a coach in waiting didn't work for North Carolina. It appears to be working very successfully just 8 miles down the road at Duke. We saw a school in Kentucky shoot big, then try to get the alum, the guy who played on one of the more popular teams in Kentucky basketball history. He is struggling, and they gave him $20 million in NIL money to go out there and build their team. There just is no right way, I think, to find your successor if you are talking about it at this level, and especially, Rob, given the expectations that KU fans have. The expectation in Kansas is not just to be good. I would say the expectation in Kansas isn't just to be really good. I would say that's where they are now. They're a really good program. They're going to finish top 4 in the Big 12. They're going to be a top 4 seed. They are a really good program. No, the expectation that Kansas is to be the absolute best. I don't know if there is any option that Kansas can present that is better than the other if Bill is going to step down. I think they all present their pros. I think they all present their cons.
This is, and fun's a poor term, but for a media member, this was fun about a coaching search. There is never a perfect candidate. I'm not comparing these two jobs, but we just got through the K-State coaching search. Jerome Tang was fired. K-State went through a coaching search. Now, the pool they can pick from, the internal, there a lot of differences in the two programs. I'm not comparing them. But what made it fun is, hey, they should go get Jared Calhoun from Utah State. Well, yeah, he's a great coach, but X, Y, and Z. Hey, they should hire Casey Alexander from Belmont. Yeah, he's a great coach, but X, Y, and Z. Hey, they should be trying to go after, this type of person, that type of person. That's what's fun about coaching searches, especially at the college ranks, where, you can kind of pick from anyone. You can hire anyone away. There is no such thing as a perfect candidate in any situation. If Andy Reid retired at the end of next season, the Chiefs are going through it, there would be a conversation about the flaws of every candidate. I understand what you're saying, but I think that's what's fun about sports talk radio and fun about sports is to bicker and argue about the differences. I think there are near perfect candidates that exist for Kansas, but they are huge home run swings. And sometimes home run swings, you end up striking out. That's the nature of a home run swing. Tommy Lloyd and Dusty May are what look like on paper the near perfect candidates. But can you get them? And if they show up at Kansas, will they have the same success at Kansas they had the lesser schools? I don't know. But I think that is the fun. And again, maybe fun's the wrong term, but the interest around these things as a Kansas fan, as a person who bickers about coaching searches all the time.
I know we're so far removed from it, so the context of this has been lost. I think people are now forgetting how much of a rising star Bill Self was when he took over the job. Bill Self was at Oral Roberts, and in 4 years at Oral Roberts, got them from 6 wins to 21 wins, and they made the NIT, which is a really big deal at a program like Oral Roberts that at the time was an independent. They weren't even in a league during that time. To go from 6 wins to 21 wins at a program like that, you know what you're doing. He then took over the Tulsa job. All right, you go from Oral Roberts, you go to an even bigger challenge. They went to the Elite Eight at Tulsa. They won 19 games, 23 games, and 32 games in the 3 years that he was there. They never finished below third in their conference. They made it. They won a game his second year in the NCAA tournament. They went to the Elite Eight his third year, and then he left. He then took the Illinois job. He went to the Elite Eight with 2 different programs in back-to-back seasons and then built a foundation that helped Illinois get to the national championship game. The year that he left, Bill Self went to the Elite Eight with 3 different programs over a 5-year stretch. I know he's been there a long time, and we talk a lot about what he did at Kansas, and understandably so, but I think people are forgetting at the time. I'm not saying that Bill was because nobody's a can't-miss prospect, but I think people have forgotten how much of a rising star Bill Self was. And I would just say right now, if you're looking at the landscape of college basketball, there doesn't really appear to be that coach that feels like the sure thing the way that Bill was. I think Bill is the perfect kind of hire. He had, up to that point, he had 10 years of Division I coaching experience. This is not like Brett Ballard, and no disrespect to Brett Ballard, who is having a fantastic job down at Washburn. This ain't coaching at Washburn. Bill showed you he could win multiple times at a mid-major level, showed you he could win at a major level, and then he took everything that he was doing at Illinois, no reason to think he wasn't going to continue that. You then gave him one of the 5 best jobs in college basketball, and look what he did with it. They won the national championship within the first 5 years of him being there. We talk a lot about the Bradley and Bucknell loss. Rob, centered around those Bucknell and Bradley losses, they went to the Elite Eight in 2 of the other 4 years and won the national championship in his 5 years. Bill is a unicorn in terms of a coaching prospect. I don't think there's that unicorn that exists right now out there.
I also think, and I don't mean to delineate from your point, because I agree with you, there is no Bill Self in this hiring cycle for Kansas, or if North Carolina comes available. North Carolina, I know as a Kansas fan, I don't like this, but Roy Williams was that exact same can't-miss home run candidate for North Carolina in 2004. And then KU then turned around and maybe hired just as good of a – it was a very odd cycle, and it worked out perfect for everyone. Those candidates don't exist right now. I also think – I know that we're 36 to 48 hours removed from KU losing to St. John's. you mentioned the first title in first 5 years. Let's not forget how just awesome Bill Self has been at Kansas if he decides to stay. You know, he's only been lower than a 4 seed once in the NCAA tournament. Like last year. And he was still got to wear the home jersey the first game of the year, last game of the year as a 7 seed. So not only was he a unicorn as a candidate, he then took Kansas and made them, honestly, you could argue better from when Roy Williams was there. And Roy Williams was an exceptional coach. I don't know if it's the state of college basketball. I don't know if we just haven't seen a true open hiring process at a school like Kansas or North Carolina in a while, but there doesn't appear to be a candidate without any, I don't know about that. I actually think the closest is Dusty May, but even Dusty May is 4 years removed from being at Florida Atlantic, which is just a very different world than Kansas.
This is what I would ask about Dusty May. Because I'm not saying he is Bill Self, but I certainly understand how someone could come to the conclusion that he could be the next Bill Self. This would my question be. Are you just 2 years too late on Dusty May? Are you 2 years too late? Because he started the upward trajectory at Florida Atlantic. He got them to the Final Four. He then stayed another year, and then Michigan rolled in. Now, I mean, this is no disrespect towards Kansas basketball. Michigan is a better athletic program than Kansas. Big Ten, look at their football money. It's not the basketball job, no question. But if you were talking about resources, ability to recruit, tradition, Michigan is a top 10 job in college basketball. I wonder with Dusty May, are you just a year too late to potentially pull him away? He's already been to a Final Four. He certainly has a good chance of going to the Final Four this year. He doesn't have a tie to Kansas in any way. It's not like a Roy Williams situation where, hey, I don't care. Like, my home is calling me. I'm going to end up taking this job. I wonder if Kansas is just 2 years removed from, if I'm now Dusty May, I've been here for a couple of years. I'm in the Big Ten. I've got great boosters, great donors. We get great recruits. I just wonder if they're a little bit too late on finding him at Michigan, and they need to find who that guy is at Florida Atlantic the same way that Michigan did.
I actually disagree, because I don't think Kansas should be pulling from Florida Atlantic the way Michigan did. I think Kansas is a good enough job that they can pull from Michigan. And maybe he goes to the Final Four this year, wins a title, and says, I'm good here forever. I don't know. A lot of things can still happen. Michigan is in the tournament. This also applies to Tommy Lloyd, Arizona. Still in the tournament. A lot can happen. But Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, they are a job that is equivalent to Ohio State in football. They are equivalent to LSU in football. They are still one of those jobs where they don't have to find the diamond in the rough. We know he's going to be great because he's been great at Florida Atlantic. They can pluck from a program that is a notch below. Michigan is not 4 or 5 notches below Kansas, but they are not the Kansas. They are not Kansas. They are not at that tier. So I get what you're saying. And I think if you were 98% of programs in college basketball, you may be too late on Dusty May. I don't think Kansas is one of the 98%. I think they're in the upper echelon 2%, highest stratosphere. Now, if you want to tell me North Carolina opens up tomorrow, Bill Self waits to announce retirement or staying, we don't know, and eventually does retire, and it's a race between Carolina and Kansas for Dusty May, I will have the conversation of maybe something went wrong. But I think there are just a handful of jobs in sports where they can get anyone, and Kansas basketball is one of those jobs.
Yeah, and the text line is saying, CDOT, Kansas has more resources than Michigan. They don't even sell out home games. I don't mean this as any disrespect towards Kansas. They are not a better athletic department than Michigan. They're not a better athletic department than Michigan is. However much money you think Kansas is spending on NIL, Michigan is spending that amount of money, and they're spending triple what Kansas is when it comes to football. It's a better athletic department than they are. Now, I understand the cachet of taking the Kansas job. It is certainly a more glamorous job than you are at Michigan. But if you already have, I would say, everything you need at Michigan, you get top recruits. Like, there is not a recruit that Kansas can get that Michigan cannot get in terms of just going out and recruiting. There is not a certain guy that they can't get.
High school or
either one?
Because Tyron Stokes did not go to Michigan. He does not. He would go. Now he's different. He's Kentucky, UNC, Duke. Cooper Flagg was never considering Michigan. That level of super prospect. I know Darren Peterson's name has become a little bit of taboo in town, but Darren Peterson was not considering Michigan. John Wall, I'll use an old school name. John Wall was never like, I would go play for Dusty May. Those guys still go to those 4 or 5 schools.
I agree, but I think that's much more in relation to who the coach is than the program. Because, for example, Derrick Rose was going to go wherever John Calipari was. Derrick Rose went to Memphis. Derrick Rose was the number one. Derrick Rose would have went anywhere. That's where John Calipari is. So I think the program of it, I agree with you. I think that is, I am going to play for Bill Self. I'm going to play for John Calipari. But just in terms of just the brand that Michigan is, there is nothing that Kansas basketball can do or afford that Michigan can't afford. So if I have all of the same resources, I'm in a great conference, and I got a chance to win a national championship, I don't know why I would leave that job to go take the Kansas job when I have a very, very good one, the one that he does now. To me, this is the difference in having the 7th best job in college basketball than having the 2nd or 3rd best job in college basketball. I don't know if that's the direction you are going. And I guess I would just say, with the world that we live in now when it comes to NIL, you're just seeing a lot more of those coaches stay. We saw this in college football. There was a lot of really good college football jobs that are opening. There were a lot of guys that chose to stay. There was a head coach that said no to coaching at Florida or Penn State to stay at Indiana this past year. There was a head coach that chose to stay at Missouri than taking the Florida job this year. I think you're seeing a lot more of these coaches, especially if I got good NIL money, that are just choosing to stay.
I think, and I won't use Eli Drinkwitz. We'll use Indiana and Florida as the example. I think those are still jobs where, yeah, you're jumping up Indiana as a program, even with the national title now. Let's say they're a top 25 program in college football. Florida's still a top 25 program in college football. I think if Texas called, I know they don't have an opening, but if Texas called Cignetti, do you think he's taking the Texas job?
I don't think he would take the job.
I think he would take the Texas job. I think if he was a real candidate at LSU, he never was, which I found odd, but he was never a candidate at LSU. I think if LSU had called, he would have real considerations. I still think there is a creme de la creme that the name cachet plus all the trappings, NIL, everything still lures you away. If you have Michigan as the 7th best job in college basketball, I don't know, you're wrong. Whatever. I still think there's a difference between 7 and top 3. I don't think there's a difference between Michigan and the Syracuse job or Michigan and the Arizona job, but I do think there is still a cachet to go the next level up.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I guess my argument would be, and it's much more tied into college football because it just seems like those jobs have just come open more recently.
We haven't seen in college basketball this job come open with a real search because Shire and Davis, and really what happened at Nova.
All of those were in-house. All of those were in-house. But in college football, Penn State, great job. They took Iowa State's head coach. There's no question in terms of program which one's better, Iowa State. There's a big gap between, I think, the perception at Iowa State than it is at Penn State. When Florida was open, you and I agree, Florida, you can win national championships at Florida. They took Tulane's head coach. Auburn was open this past year. Auburn got South Florida's head coach. Auburn is a great job. I just think you're starting to see, I wonder if the way that we perceive the cachet of those jobs now, when you couple with the expectation how quickly those jobs will fire you, like if you're a guy like Hubert Davis has actually done a pretty decent job at North Carolina. He really has done a good job. He's been the head coach there for 5 years, Rob. They went to a national championship. They went to a Sweet 16. They lost in the first round of the tournament. He's been there 5 years. They've won 70% of the games since Hubert Davis has been there in both regular season games and inside the conference. They've won the ACC, finished second in the ACC. He's about to get fired at North Carolina. He's about to get fired. And everybody's saying this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. You know where that's good enough? At Michigan. Michigan is not firing their head coach. That is the runner-up for the national championship, makes the Sweet 16, makes the tournament the other 2 years. They are not having a conversation about firing him after year 5. They're having a conversation about firing you at Kentucky. They're having a conversation about firing you at Kansas. I think that's the difference.
And I think that is what, because of the coaches that want those jobs, sign up for. Lane Kiffin was going to, again, because of basketball, I don't know had this opening. We'll use football. Lane Kiffin was going to be good at Oxford forever. He would get a statue at Ole Miss. Like,
Kiffin's a little different because Kiffin is a job hopper. Kiffin ain't never stayed at a job for very long.
To be fair,
Kiffin's a hopper.
To be fair, sometimes he gets told it's time to no longer have this job. Sometimes it's him, sometimes it's not. But like he had safety, no pressure. You could be a 10 seed in the college football playoff, and you are going to be king at Ole Miss forever. And he said there's just a different cachet. I'm going to LSU. I'm making the jump. Like I still think there are some jobs that carry that, and coaches that see those jobs want that expectation. If you're a coach, pick a name, who worries about expectations, you're not right for the Kansas job anyway. I don't know why Scott Drew turned down Kentucky. Now, supposedly he got a bunch of money from Baylor to stay, but maybe he was the guy that, hey, I'm good at Baylor forever. I don't want the pressure. But there are definitely coaches and people in athletics who are signing up for more pressure because it means the best out of me in whatever capacity.
Coming up on the other side, let's get back to the NFL. Let's talk a little bit of NFL draft. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
This baseball season, FanDuel is letting you choose your own reward for opening week. Betting customizations that transform how you experience the game. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready for you on your next MLB bet. FanDuel is the home of home runs. Now that you can choose your reward for opening week, baseball just got more exciting. For myself, personally, I'm looking at opening day. Cole Reagans is healthy, so I love a nice strikeout bet with Cole. And looking at the Royals' home opener, fences are in, the Twins have no pitching, and Jack Caglione has a chance to grab the city. Give me an anytime home run for him on that day. So, ready to play your game? Head to FanDuel.com/local to choose your reward for MLB's opening week. FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB, and FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When shopping for a new auto insurance policy, AAA could help you customize your coverage to fit your unique needs and budget. Trust AAA Auto Insurance to help you find the balance that works for you. See how a simple switch could make a big difference. AAA, we're always with you. Visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Hop in a John Deere Gator XUV for a day's work. Let's see what's on the to-do list. There goes the tree. And the fence. Not a problem. Because you've got a cargo box filled with solutions. Up to 4,000 pounds of towing capacity. And you're ready to roll.
The power's out!
Here we go again. The Gator XUV, built for every kind of workday. Learn more at johndeere.com/Gator XUV. Nothing runs like a deer.
Hi, I'm Carter.
And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out.
Leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
Royals coverage is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law, 816-888-7500. Hey, Mike's got this. Blue Springs, good news. That crash has cleared. You're still slow, though, through, we'll call it, Oak Grove, back through Oak Grove. Stall 435 eastbound just before State Line. The two right lanes are blocked down there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about Darren Peterson. We'll also talk a little Royals in the 4 o'clock hour as well. Baseball season is right around the corner. Let's sprinkle in a little bit of NFL draft conversation. You know what? We haven't had to talk about this guy in a while because the Chiefs, they answered the question at running back, so we don't have to answer anymore. Do you want the Chiefs to take Jeremiah Love at number 9? The answer is absolutely not. But he's still going to get drafted in the NFL. And you know what? There's a wide range of where he could possibly go. Here's Adam Schefter.
To me, he's a top 10 pick. I know a lot of people have had him going to Tennessee. Again, it's just not what I'm sensing right now. And by the way, it's March 23rd. The draft is a month from now. There are a lot of teams that go back and forth on these things. And just because they're not in a spot on March 23rd doesn't mean they won't be in a different spot on April 23rd. So it's hard to say. Today, as we sit here today, my guess would be I don't see him going to Tennessee. I don't see him going to the Giants at number 5, although that would be an interesting spot. And I think he'd have a lot of support there. To me, a place that makes sense today, a month out, would be the Washington Commanders. They've added to their running back room. I could see Washington being interested in a player like Jeremiah Love. 7 would be the spot.
So that was Adam Schefter talking about Jeremiah Love and where he could potentially land. Rob, we haven't had a chance to talk about him in quite some time with all of this. Let's go through this a little bit because at least to me, maybe all of this is smoke, right? Like, there's a possibility that all of this is smoke. I think he's going number 4 to Tennessee. It just makes all the sense in the world to me. You spent the number 1 overall pick on a quarterback last year. You got a defensive-minded head coach that you know wants to run the ball and play defense. You want to give support to your number 1 overall pick. And I think at that point, I mean, now, positional value out the window. If you are arguing best player available, you could make a case that Jeremiah Love's the best player available there at 4. My argument with him has always been positional value-wise, not whether or not I think that he is going to be a good player or not. I think you could argue positional value or best player available there at 4. If you had to ask me right now, I think Jeremiah Love's going 4 to Tennessee.
See, I think Tennessee has so many needs, and they have a ton. I think they have so many needs that running back is a luxury pick, and they can't afford to be having luxury picks in the first round in the top 5. So I actually think the Commanders at 7 probably make the most sense. I think I agree with Schefter. If he falls past the Commanders at 7, he could go into real free falls relative, but he could go into a relatively decent fall considering what everyone thinks his talent is. But I don't know the Titans can afford to taking a luxury pick when they have
somebody
so
goes
many
to
other
get him.
needs.
Then if that's the case,
I agree, but I think it's more like 12, 13, 14. Someone's coming up to come get him.
That's fair.
Which for a guy that's considered a top 5 talent, I don't know if free fall being an aggressive term, but that's a relative big fall from grace for Jeremiah Love.
I think Baltimore may go get him at 14. Maybe they don't go up to get him, but I definitely think you can spin it if you're Baltimore, especially with who your quarterback is and how important running the football is for your identity. I think you can easily spend, we're going to have just an incredible 1, 2, 3. We're going to be the best rushing team in the National Football League. You bring in a great defensive coordinator. The Ravens, to me, at 14, I actually think are very, very interesting. But all of this just seems like we're running out of topics. We've been talking about this thing now for 2.5 months, 3 months when it comes to the NFL draft. I think Jeremiah Love's going to go 4 overall to Tennessee. That would be my bet on where I think he could potentially go. I want to play one more cut related to the NFL draft with you guys. Now, Dan Orlowski is taking a lot of arrows for this, but he has Ty Simpson as the best quarterback in this year's draft class.
I think Ty Simpson is QB1. I think Ty Simpson is the best quarterback in this class. I think when you look at the body of work and what was asked of these two quarterbacks, you have to start with the question, who needed to do more to carry their football team to play well? Ty Simpson, and it's not close between those two quarterbacks. Who took more games over throughout the course of the season? Ty Simpson. It's not even close. And if we're asking, okay, we're trying to see what you are as a player in college and what you're going to be asked to do in the NFL and what translates. I start with, what do you do in moments of panic with the football? Because that's really what separates good to great. I would tell you that Ty Simpson is more consistent in that regard. There's not a ton of moments of panic out of Fernando Mendoza. And then there's moments when he immediately drops his eyes and becomes a runner. Ty Simpson more consistent in that. What guy was asked to do more NFL throws? When I say NFL throws, I'm talking 15, 20, 25-yard in routes, crossing routes, deep corner or sail routes. Yeah. Ty Simpson, and it's not even close in that regard. Downfield throws, the posts and the goes, I think they're close. Mendoza throws a lot of go routes, and he's good at it, but I think they're close. RPO, get it out, that's predominantly what Mendoza's offense was. Right. And then I think throwing on the move, they're both relatively equal. So when it comes to moments of panic and big throws, real NFL throws, I think it's clearly Ty Simpson.
I like Ty Simpson a lot more than Rob does as a prospect. I saw a quarterback that made some big-time throws last year on a team that just – I don't think Alabama was really overly talented last year. I don't think they ran the football very effectively. I didn't love their offensive line last year. Their number one wide receiver, I don't know if it was lack of work in the offseason. I don't know if he was dealing with work, personal issues. I don't know what it was. Jeremiah Smith continued to be phenomenal. That is not what Ryan Williams was last year. I think there were a lot of forces kind of working against Ty Simpson last year, and he was just phenomenal. Completed 65% of his passes, 3,500 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 5 interceptions last year. I thought Ty Simpson was really good. Now, I don't think he's going number one overall. Let's be realistic. They're taking the Las Vegas Raiders. This is the talking point. But Ty Simpson's not getting out of the first round. There aren't enough good quarterbacks, and just taking the dice roll doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt you anymore. It used to hurt you. But now, if you think J.J. McCarthy can play, draft him. If he can't, then you'll figure it out and you'll go get somebody else. Like, I'm looking at a situation like Pittsburgh. If Ty Simpson is still there, I don't know how you let him off the board. Missing on the 21 overall pick, if you're trying to quarterback, it doesn't hurt you as an organization. And you got to take those swings because getting it right is so important to me. So Ty Simpson is not getting out of the first round. The question is just going to be who's the team that's ultimately going to pull the trigger.
Here's my thing with Ty Simpson. He fell off a cliff in the second half of the season. Like, basically, they go to South Carolina, they win. He plays okay in that game, not great. Ever since that moment, it was bad. Like, real bad. Like, he had a game where his yards attempted against Auburn, yards per attempt was 3.5.
Not good.
That's horrendous. Some people would tell you that's a great running back average, but it's also not that or a great yards per pass average. Awful. He had multiple interception games, and the college football playoff, I don't know you could play any worse in the biggest moment.
He was terrible.
He had absolutely folded. So, like, if you had told me, hey, he's coming off the Missouri game, the Tennessee game, what do you think of Ty Simpson? I think Ty Simpson's a star. From that moment on, and you pull his stats, it is mediocrity. The last half of his last 7 games of his college career, 60% completion percentage, that's still fine. 197 yards per game, that's not good. 8 touchdowns and 4 picks. He basically was a 1 touchdown per half a pick guy with a yards per attempt of 6.5. That is a massive drop off when the game's getting the most important. That's why I don't like Ty Simpson. Now he doesn't get to goose the numbers with Louisiana, Monroe, Vanderbilt, and Wisconsin anymore. He really fell off a cliff.
Now, this is where I'm going to give Ty Simpson a little bit of support last year. Do you know how many yards the leading rusher got last year for Alabama?
It was bad. Was that Miller kid
Jam
got hurt?
Miller.
Yeah, he got hurt at 300 and some.
504 yards. He averaged 3.9 yards per carry. Their second leading rusher averaged 3.8 yards per carry. Their third leading rusher averaged 3.8 yards per carry. They had an abysmal run game last year. Rob, can you imagine if I had told you that Ryan Williams wouldn't have been the leading receiver for Alabama last year?
That would have shocked me.
It was Bernard. And Bernard had 860 yards. Ryan Williams last year had 689 yards. The only point I'm making on Ty Simpson is I don't think he had a really good infrastructure around him last year. I don't think the team around him was very good last season. Where I think if you put him on a team that just has a little bit more, I think we'd be talking about Ty Simpson very, very differently. I like his ability. I like what he showed me last year. I think they only made the playoffs because Ty Simpson was their quarterback last year. Again, I don't think he should be the number 1 overall pick. But if you are a team in the first round, especially on that back half, you are fooling yourself if you're not going to take a swing at him. You are. You're fooling yourself if you don't take a swing. If you're Pittsburgh and you don't take the swing, you're silly, in my opinion, if you don't do it. You have to do it if you were them. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to college basketball. I want to play for you guys what Robbie Hummel had to say about Darren Peterson. We'll also talk some Royals baseball in the 4 o'clock hour as well. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Deem Injury Law, 816-888-7500. Hey, Mike's got this. Blue Springs, good news. That crash has cleared. You're still slow, though, through, we'll call it, Oak Grove, back through Oak Grove. Stall 435 eastbound just before State Line. The 2 right lanes are blocked down there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Sex, intimacy, love. These 3 things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts, with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Feeling the heat? Don't sweat it. Turn to Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling. With temperatures rising, now's the time to make sure your AC is ready to keep you cool. Whether it's your home or your business, Comfort Systems services both residential and commercial systems across the Kansas City area. Call today for a fast tune-up, repair, or a system upgrade so you can stay cool all summer long. Family owned and operated since 1990, comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
Join Cody and Gold live this Friday, 10 to 2 at Rally House Independence for the Rally With Us MLB Opening Day event. Shop Royals gear. First 100 fans get up to 40% off. Plus, chances to win gift cards and home opener tickets courtesy of The Fan. Details at 965thefan.com.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
When Kansas City storms roll through, hail and wind can damage your roof without you even realizing it. If your home was hit, call us at Century Roofing for a free inspection today. We handle every step with your insurance company, making the process stress-free and easy for you. For over 35 years and more than 35,000 roofs, we've been protecting Kansas City homes. Let us protect yours. Trust the Pillars of Strength with KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the Pillars of Strength.
Royals coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
At Metal by the Foot, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality metal to meet your exact needs. Located in Casey and Topeka, online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
What's up, KC? It's Matt Strom from the Kansas City Royals. Don't miss Vern's On Deck show 1 hour before first pitch right here on 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit of Royals baseball here coming up in about 15 minutes. The weather is starting to turn. We are less than a week away from opening day in Kansas City. Really excited that baseball is back. I want to talk a little bit of college basketball here. Here's Robbie Hummel. He is with Field of 68. He was asked if Darren Peterson is a generational prospect. Here's the answer.
But when I'm thinking about generational prospects, I just feel like those guys have a burst or an elevation or a pop to them. And maybe this injury thing has sapped him of that. I didn't see him play in high school.
He had some of that, Rob. He
I
did
read
have some of it.
I read CJ Moore's article about just kind of how in high school he was more with that stuff. And they had numbers to back it up and, all this stuff. But in watching him right now, he just doesn't get by people. Like he has to take a lot of tough shots, and some of them he makes because I think he is really talented. But yeah, I struggle to think that right now he is a generational prospect because I just don't think he has some of the physical bursts that a lot of those guys that have been labeled that do. And that's where if you're having a hard time getting clean looks in NCAA tournament games and Big 12 games, that doesn't get easier when you get to the NBA.
I understand why we do this, but when you really think about generational basketball talents, a guy that comes out and you are thinking, yo, what is this? That's a really, really small list. So debating to me if you think that Darren Peterson is generational is a little bit of a silly exercise. Rob, I would say over the last, let's say 40 years, there have been 3 truly generational basketball talents. Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, and Victor Wembanyama. That is not to say there have not been other really good basketball prospects that have come out, but I'm talking about in the true sense of truly generational, where you look at this player, they are so unique in their skill set, so unique in their abilities, you know that that player is destined to be one of the absolute greatest players to do it. You knew it with Shaquille O'Neal. Look at what he turned into. You knew it with LeBron James. You knew LeBron James when he was a junior in high school. Victor Wembanyama, look at him. He's 7'3". He's the best defensive player in the NBA, and he's 21 years old. That's generational to me. So to me, if you were trying to pigeonhole a player like Darren Peterson into this generational, that's silly. We've seen 20 prospects over the last 20 years that are comparable to Darren Peterson. That's not to say he can't play, but John Wall was an incredible basketball talent. Kyrie was an incredible basketball talent. To me, that's where I think we've kind of set Darren Peterson up for failure when we are throwing around those terms for generational. No, he is just next up in one of the great American point guards, great American shooting guards, that their career could work out at an incredibly high level, or it could possibly not work out. Throwing that label of generational around just seems very unfair to him as a basketball talent when we look at the guys who have actually truly been generational talents.
I also think, and I understand your point, and I agree with your point. I think we toss that term around too often. It's like every year in the NBA draft, there's a generational talent. You know what? We haven't had 26 generational talents since 2000. We just haven't. Like, Cooper Flagg's really good. I don't think Cooper Flagg is a generational talent. AJ DeBansto, really good. Not a generational talent. I agree with you there. I also think one thing I think we're going to look back at Darren Peterson's college career and come to note is, or I think we'll come to note is, I don't think he was ever healthy or mentally trusted his body, maybe is a better way to say it. Because Robbie Hummel in the clip acknowledges, hey, I didn't watch him in high school. I read C.J. Moore, which, by the way, C.J. Moore, nice shout out there from Robbie Hummel. I read C.J. Moore's piece. He was much more explosive in high school. I don't think we ever saw the full Darren Peterson experience at Kansas. Now, maybe the cramps and everything, and he can't mentally overcome it, and he's always worried about it, and he continues to be a mostly below-the-rim player, and his NBA career is just good shooter. But if he can get back to healthy and trusting his body, which I think is a massive storyline for what happened at Kansas, I think he can be a really good to above average all-star level of NBA player. Is that a generational talent? Probably not. That's too high of a moniker. But I think we never saw the truly full package of Darren Peterson at Kansas, and now people are going out of their way to say, well, he's not this and he's not that. His stats indicate he's basically Anthony Edwards at Georgia. They're like the same. It's just he wasn't an explosive dunker guy.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it, and some of the names that people are throwing out there. Again, I'm not saying these guys weren't tremendous talents. Kobe Bryant wasn't drafted in the top 10 in his draft class. He was not a generational talent. He turned out to be a phenomenal talent. Kobe Bryant, coming out of high school, was not viewed as a once-in-a-generation prospect, because if he was, he would have been the number 1 overall pick in that year's draft class. He wouldn't have sat for the first 3 years of his NBA career if that was the case. Again, I'm just saying is every year there is a prospect like Darren Peterson that comes out in every single draft class. I would say every year there is a prospect that comes out like Kobe. Now, what you turn into is on you once you get there. But, I mean, Carmelo Anthony was Kobe back in 2003. He didn't turn out to be Kobe, but yeah, the way we felt about Carmelo, the way we felt about Dwayne Wade coming into the NBA, those guys are going to be good pros. Those guys work out. Sometimes there's Michael Beasley. I'd never seen anything like Michael Beasley. 6'10", long, athletic, could shoot it from anywhere, could put it on the floor. I'm looking at Michael Beasley and I'm thinking, I don't know how you can take this 6'2" guard over him. Michael Beasley never worked out to be that kind of prospect. I just think we're throwing that term generational out there a little bit too much when it comes to basketball. There's been 3 in 40 years. It's been Shaq, LeBron, and Victor Wembanyama. That's not to say Luka wasn't great. He was. He was absolutely great. Rob, I was thinking this about Darren Peterson. And now I don't know if this is me poking a little bit of fun at your expense, but maybe it is. I think there's only one memory of Darren Peterson at Kansas. I think there's one.
I don't agree with that, but I'm curious what your one is.
It's the shot against Texas Tech.
I think the dunk against BYU.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
I'll
give you that one.
I think he has 2.
That's fair. I'll give you that one.
I
think
think
it's 2 memories.
I agree. I would say 2. I agree with you there.
For all of the conversation, all of the buildup to Darren Peterson, all of it, all the comparisons, all the excitement, last year when Kansas had its worst year under Bill Self, wait till we get Darren. Wait till we get Darren. This was a failure. There's no other word you could possibly use for this. Now, we asked Shreyas this yesterday. He used the word unfulfilled, and I think that's a fair word. This is a failure. Darren Peterson didn't make first team Big 12. They didn't advance in the NCAA tournament. It was constant drama the entire season around Darren Peterson. This was a failure. This experiment failed with Darren Peterson. That's not to say you wouldn't try it again with another number 1 prospect, and I'm sure Kansas will get that kid again because they're Kansas. But for all of the conversation that we had about Darren Peterson, he has done 2 things that people will remember. You're right, the dunk against BYU, which then, right after that, it was then with more drama that we had. He then checks out of the game.
He checked out immediately.
And the shot that he hit against BYU or against Texas Tech, that's it. There's nothing else people will remember or talk about with Darren Peterson. He will not be a significant part of their basketball history in any way. He will not come back and be beloved at Kansas. He will not show up and they'll show him on the Jumbotron and that place will go crazy because he in attendance. He is not coming back on All-Star Weekend to sit courtside and watch KU play TCU in a conference game. This was a failure at Kansas. And I don't think it's Kansas's fault that it failed, but that's what it is. This was a failure based on what he was supposed to be and what actually happened. This failed.
I would use a word more similar to what Shreyas used. I would say unsatisfying. I was probably leader of the bandwagon that he was going to be special at Kansas. And there were glimpses of it, but it was inconsistent. It was more time on the bench. It was checking himself out. And the stories around Darren Peterson, both locally and nationally, were not ever about the actual basketball. It was about all the other stuff. All the other rumors, all the other hearsay, whatever. So I would say it was unsatisfying because I know the game didn't count. That first half of the exhibition game against Louisville, I was like, oh, he might be the best player in the country, period. And then you just didn't see him play again for like 13 games. Then when he came back, he played a little bit and then back to the bench and then played a little bit, back to the bench. And then good game against TCU, but he checked himself out right before overtime. Like he hit the 3 free throws, and he was done. Like the BYU dunk was cool, and then the game was over. I use a word unsatisfying because it just feels like you got excited to get a really great steak, and you never got the steak. You got a nice meal, like you're full, but I don't think you are happy with what the whole experience was.
Yeah, someone on the text line says, CDOT, this was MPJ at Missouri. This was worse.
He had more moments at Kansas than MPJ did at Mizzou, though.
Yeah, but I would say with Michael Porter Jr., that was a pure, he just couldn't play. Like Michael Porter Jr., I think people forget this. Michael Porter Jr. had surgery while at Missouri, had surgery during the season, and then came back and then fought to play at Mizzou. Like, comparing the two, I mean, Darren Peterson played 700 minutes at Kansas. Darren Peterson played 50 minutes at Mizzou. Like, Michael Porter just wasn't healthy enough to play basketball at Missouri. He wasn't healthy enough. Honestly, I'm not sure if Kansas' season goes any different if Darren Peterson doesn't show up. Does it go any different?
I think they're much worse.
I don't know if they're much worse than what they were. I'm just saying is, so This was a 4 seed that got blown out in the NCAA tournament. They beat Cal Baptist and lost in the second round of the tournament. That's not much different than what I think they would have been if Darren Peterson doesn't show up.
First off, they were not blown out. They lost on a last-second shot.
Okay, my bad. You're right. They got blown out in the Big 12 tournament. They lost in a heartbreaker. You're right. My apologies.
They definitely got blown out by Houston.
My bad. You're right.
But I don't think this team without Darren Peterson beats BYU. I don't think this team beats TCU in that game that we were at. I think they lose both of those games easy. I think they're probably losing another conference game at home. They probably lose at Tech. Like, I just named 3 games they lose. That's a 6 seed, and now you're a 6-11 game toss-up. You lose to Texas. It's a very different energy at Kansas.
I don't know if Kansas, and we will never know. I don't know if Kansas is in a much different place today than if Darren Peterson, after the Arizona game, says, I'm shutting it down, I'm going to the NBA. I don't know if they're in a much different spot than they are today.
The first Arizona game.
The first Arizona game. When Darren Peterson opted out of the Arizona game and said, I'm sick, I cannot play. I don't know if we are having a different conversation today if he just says, I'm done. I think it then allows Kansas to just, hey, we know the certainty of it. Kansas never figured out offense with Darren Peterson this year, ever. They never figured it out. The ball never moved. They never played as cohesive as when he wasn't on the floor. They never figured out how to play really good, effective basketball with Darren. Like, if I ask you right now, Rob, you watch every KU game, what's the best effort they had with Darren Peterson on the floor? I'm saying with him playing in the games, because they did good things when he wasn't there. They beat Tennessee when he wasn't there. They beat Arizona when he wasn't there. What's the best game this past season that you could say, oh, that's a team that can go to the Final Four when Darren Peterson was on the floor? They just didn't have those moments when he was there.
I would say the first half of BYU is probably the best example I got. One half where it was debate where because KU was smoking BYU in that first half. That's my answer. First half against BYU.
Okay. So 20 minutes against BYU is the time they showed you that they could figure it all out. Then he quit. Then he quit in the second half of the team. He looked at his pops or I don't know who he looked at and said, he was like, hey, cut it. And he was like, all right, man, I got you. I'm like, all right. I'm serious. I'm not sure if Darren Peterson after the Arizona game says, I'm done playing. I think we were having the exact same conversation we're having right now. I think Kansas gets blown out. I think they compete hard in the second round. They competed all year. I think they lose to St. John's just because St. John's is better than they are, and I think we're having the exact same conversation today. I don't know how much Darren Peterson really helped Kansas, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know how much he helped them. I think they were a good basketball team with or without him this year. They're a well-coached team, and I think him maybe stepping out would have allowed them to develop in some other ways that I'm not really sure if his presence allowed them to develop. Coming up on the other side, we'll keep talking a little Kansas basketball. We'll also transition to the Royals baseball season right around the corner. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
This baseball season, FanDuel is letting you choose your own reward for opening week. Betting customizations that transform how you experience the game. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready for you on your next MLB bet. FanDuel is the home of home runs. Now that you can choose your reward for opening week, baseball just got more exciting. For myself, personally, I'm looking at opening day. Cole Reagans is healthy, so I love a nice strikeout bet with Cole. And looking at the Royals' home opener, fences are in, the Twins have no pitching, and Jack Caglione has a chance to grab the city. Give me an anytime home run for him on that day. So, ready to play your game? Head to FanDuel.com/local to choose your reward for MLB's opening week. FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB, and FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $59.99 guaranteed. That's right. Don't just cut back. Stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight you want. Only $59.99 guaranteed with Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Let hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating, and lose the weight. Weight loss hypnosis. Wednesday, April 1st at the Wingate by Wyndham, Kansas City. Formerly Sure Stay Plus by Best Western in Kansas City. 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis. 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrick goldenoakseminars.com.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber, connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Well, we finally made it. It's spring, and I have spring fever. I love getting outside and cooking on the flat top or the grill, and Hy-Vee has the best meat department in KC. They've got the freshest, top-quality cuts of corn-fed beef from the Midwest and the best prices in town. They also have bacon-wrapped chicken breast and stuffed pork chops, plus the fresh seafood we love at home. Make it a meal with a twice-baked potato. It's the best meat department in town. They've got the steaks, they've got the chicken, they've got the seafood, and you can get it only at Hy-Vee.
3, 2, 1. It's mid-March, and Kansas City is crazy about college hoops. Pick your bracket, call your friends, and count on Hy-Vee for all your game day snacks. Hy-Vee makes your watch party easy with a huge selection of ready-to-serve party trays, boneless wings, barbecue, sushi, pizza, and fresh bakery goods. Order ahead through the Hy-Vee app, online, or at your favorite store. Even if your bracket is a bust, your watch party will be a winner only at Hy-Vee.
Baseball is back. Opening night is one exclusive game, and it's live on Netflix. On Wednesday, March 25th, the New York Yankees, led by 7-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the Bay Area to face Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. A brand new way to watch Major League Baseball, and it all starts here. MLB opening night, Yankees vs. Giants, live on Netflix, Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all, because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep, now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples. That was easy. Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app by 4/18 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Brought to you by Kalshi. Trade on anything. March matchups are here. Trade the tournament in all 50 states on Kalshi. Duke is trading at 19% to win it all. A $100 trade pays out $498 if they win. Arizona and Michigan are trading at 22%. Download the Kalshi app and use code FAN to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Multi-car crash now working if you're coming up from Grandview 49 northbound on the ramp to 435, 470. You'll tap your brakes through there and very heavy back beyond Grandview, backing up actually into Belton. Downtown, that's a stall 70 westbound past Troost, right lane blocked. Dime Valley traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Carter Jensen from the Kansas City Royals. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
Text line 913-586-7965. We'll get to the Royals here coming up momentarily. We were just talking about this before the break. I made the point that for the year and a half that we spent talking about Darren Peterson, he did two things that people will remember at Kansas. the 3 against Texas Tech, those back-to-back shots, but the 3 won the game, and the dunk against BYU. Those are the 2 things that people will talk about. Those are the 2 things that people will remember. Other than that, I don't think the juice was worth the squeeze. The point that I made to Rob and what we were arguing with is I think that Kansas is possibly in a better spot, but I don't think they're in a worse position if Darren Peterson, after the first Arizona game, just opts out of the rest of the season. Says, I'm not healthy. I don't feel well. This is not going well. I want to get completely healthy and get ready for the NBA draft. I don't know if Kansas' season goes much differently than what it did. When Kansas played a team away from Allen Fieldhouse that was a legitimate team that really has a chance to do something, they got blown out by Houston. They lost in the tournament to St. John's, and they were down for 35 minutes of the game. So they did that with Darren Peterson. I think they do the exact same if he's not there. I don't know if we are having much different conversations today than we would be if Darren Peterson had opted out the second half of the season, when it was kind of obvious. And I feel most of the conversation were, well, Darren will eventually put it together. Did he put it together? I mean, sure, he scored 28 points in the game against Cal Baptist. He took 24 shots to do it. I think the last great version of Darren Peterson was the first half against BYU. That was the last great, oh my goodness, that's the best player in college basketball. That was in January. The NFL playoffs were still going on when that happened. I don't think we had too many of those moments, I would say, after the BYU game where that happened. We'll get back to Kansas here coming up in a bit. Let's talk a little bit of Royals baseball. The Royals get going on Friday. They are in Atlanta. They also start their season next Monday at Kaufman Stadium. They're fixing up the field right now. You know, they're moving the fences in a little bit. Here is Mike Farron. He was on MLB Network Radio. There's been a lot of early buzz about Bobby Witt Jr. to win AL MVP.
If we're going to play who outside of Aaron Judge can win the MVP award in the American League, like Bobby Witt Jr. should be the first choice there, right? Like he's
absolutely, yeah.
Getting to watch him every day watch him play 7 games of the WBC was an absolute joy. And he didn't even have a good offensive tournament. I don't think I fully appreciated how absolutely incredible he is as a defender. Like he is.
Yeah. He is
a remarkable player. He is so good at everything that he does that, like, he could put up one of those, like, he put up a nearly 10-WAR season 2 years ago, right? And Judge would just happen to be better. Like, I don't know, man. I think so highly of him that I think he alone elevates their chances.
All right, first thing I want to get your opinion on, Rob, is, are we having this conversation because there is MVP voter fatigue? We can't give it to Aaron Judge. We have to find somebody else to give AL MVP to. So let's find another really good player in the American League. Is that where you think this conversation is coming from?
No, because there is a legitimate argument, and I'm not the one making it, but there was a legitimate argument that in 2024, Bobby Witt should have won MVP over Aaron Judge. A lot of the analytics favored him. His defensive numbers favored him. You just heard in the cut from Mike Farron, I believe he was a 10-WAR player by himself. Like, Bobby Witt was tremendous. Aaron Judge was just better. Like, I mean,
for sure.
It's no disrespect to Bobby, but if you took that season, carbon copied it, and said Bobby Witt had that season in 2023 or in 2025, he would have been MVP on merit, not on anything else. So, no, I do not believe this is voter fatigue. I think people just forget how great Bobby was in 24 because Aaron Judge it's just better. That happens sometimes. Like, there have probably been guys like Drew Brees had a really good 2018. He really did. Patrick Mahomes was just better. Like, and he won the MVP because of it. That's sometimes just how the game is played, but it's not voter fatigue in my opinion.
If Bobby Witt Jr. gets back to the 2024 version of him, I think the Royals win their division. In 2024, 32 home runs, 109 RBIs. He hit 332. He hit 332. I mean, he was down in a lot of metrics in 2025, which sounds crazy because he was still really, really good in 2025. He led baseball in hits. He led baseball in doubles. He hit 23 home runs, had 88 RBIs. He hit 295. But you look at batting average was noticeably down, on base percentage was noticeably down, slugging percentage, OPS was noticeably down. If they get the 2024 version, which you think they should be able to get close to, bringing the fences in so some of those balls that were caught at the warning track now got a chance to leave the park. If they get that version back of Bobby Witt Jr., I think they're in the postseason this year. The Royals have, I would say, 3 guys on offense that feel like they are on the verge of taking that next superstar leap. Bobby is one of them. Look at what he did in the World Baseball Classic. Look at what he's been able to do his first 4 years. He is now entering 26 years old. I'm talking about where not just Royals fans are talking about him. The same way that people started to talk about Seattle's catcher Kyle Raleigh, I think that Bobby Witt Jr. is potentially on the verge of being in that conversation. I think that Judge Ohtani is a different stratosphere, but can you be Kyle Raleigh? That was just, hey, that was the story of the American League last year. Can he be that? Miguel Garcia, you look at the season that he put together last year, the World Baseball Classic that he put together, Gold Glover, All-Star. He feels like he's on the verge of taking that next step. Vinny Pasquantino, can he be a guy that hits 30 home runs? Can you imagine if the Royals, and it's very possible for the Royals, can you imagine if the Royals have 2 guys that can hit 30 home runs and have 100 RBIs in the middle of their lineup, how much that changes things for everybody else? That is a realistic goal for this team, for this offense, given where those guys are in their career, if they can stay healthy this year.
I don't want this to come off like I'm blaming Bobby or Vinny or any of those guys for the shortcomings of last year's team. The fact they didn't have an outfield is probably the problem with last year's team.
For sure.
They started 6 guys. They just didn't have a right and left fielder. They decided not to do it this year. It was bold, and it didn't work out. But if you get Bobby Witt, Miguel Garcia, and Vinny Pasquantino to get back to being stars, which Garcia and Pasquantino, I believe, were statistically in 25. If you get Bobby back to that level, if he's playing at that level, that takes the pressure off Salvador Perez. And now I think the offense can move a little better and can operate a little better. And you're definitely a playoff team. You might be a division winning team. Like, we haven't really delved full into baseball yet. We still have a few days before opening day. Man, the Royals division is gettable. I know the Tigers have Tarek Skubal, and Tarek Skubal is a freak. But it's not like the Tigers are out there with Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, and, Paul Goldschmidt like the Yankees were last year. They're not Shohei Ohtani and more like the Dodgers are. The Tigers are gettable, but the Royals are, going to need some contribution from their outfield. Like, literally any would be a positive step. And if Bobby progresses back to what we think he can be, the offense is better, and they weren't that far off last year from being a playoff team. They could easily be a team that is competing for the division. And after the World Baseball Classic of Cags, Pasquantino, and Garcia, and really Perez, there is palpable buzz. This could be a real, not just real offense like better than last year. They could be a dangerous offense. Passan has them top 15 potentially. Saris from The Athletic, he's an analytics guy in baseball. He says one of his bold predictions, the Royals have a top 10 offense next year. Like, if their offense is that, this team is division title type of good.
I understand that it is not a completely one-to-one comparison, but I think the comparison makes a lot of sense. The Royals feel like going into the season? They feel a lot like the Chicago Bears. Remember how last year we were looking at the Bears roster, and you were thinking, man, if they could get all of that talent to come together, the Bears got a chance of being pretty good. The Bears ended up, they were a pretty decent team. They won 11 games last year. They won their division. They were one of the more competitive teams in the National Football League, had a little run in the postseason. They had a lot of young players that all seemed to kind of figure it out last year. Now, let's see if the Bears can maintain it. Let's see if they can keep it up. But you remember, there was a buzz about the Chicago Bears going into the season. There was an expectation that they could go out and do basically what they went out and did last year. I kind of feel like that's where the Royals are. Now, I get it. Buzz in the NFL is a little different than buzz in Major League Baseball, but you could just get a sense and a tone around the Royals. And we've been around the Royals enough. We lived here our whole lives. This feels like real, legitimate buzz, not just like blind, hopeful optimism. We've had that before in Kansas City, where somebody asks you what you think of the Royals. I don't know, man. If everything comes together, I mean, maybe. I think there is a legitimate, hey, this team needs to be in it the entire year. This team needs to win at least 85 games. I am expecting this team in August, in September. I'm expecting them to be in it and have a chance to either make the playoffs and or win their division. I think the Royals are going into it with real tangible expectation, and there will be legitimate disappointment from the fans if they don't accomplish their goals.
I think we're saying the same thing here, but just made a little difference. So semantics. There have been years where at this time of year, people like me and you and Vern and Jalen Thompson from the Star and Sam McDowell, they have to kind of sell the idea of the Royals to the fans. Hey, if X, Y, and Z goes right, there are some chances. Hey, the division definitely plays down. If blank and so are playing at their potential, they kind of do a little bit of a sell job. We've seen that we can name individual players. I don't think the Royals need to sell you on this year's team. I think this year's team, the expectation is we are a winner. It's just to what level. And if they are not a winner, I think it's time to put people on the hot seat. If they are a team that goes even 80-82, barring Bobby Witt getting hurt, and we knock on wood, if Bobby Witt's healthy, if they're 80-82, JJ McCall's in the hot seat. Matt Quattro's in the hot seat. There is no reason this team should not be, at the very least, competing for a wild card spot. Baseball's made that easier for you now, but they should absolutely be competing for a division. The same way that you've talked about how if you don't nail this offseason, the Chiefs are bad again next year. Brett Veach, welcome to the hot seat. That's kind of how I felt the Royals front office. You were a playoff team, slight regression. You should be back to playoff team this year, or it's time for your seats to warm up a little bit.
I know we're also, 4 months away from this too. If the Royals are who we think they are, there will be a very loud voice from the fan base to, you guys need to do something at the All-Star break. You guys need to do something heading into the trade deadline. That you have been talking about this moment. We could go back and find the audio clip, but you remember John Sherman said, hey, Dayton always talks about winning the World Series. Well, I want to be a wild card team. You got a chance to be a wild card team 2 out of the last 3 years. You got a chance to win your division. You haven't won a whole lot of divisions in modern Royals baseball history. The expectation around the deadline is going to be, because they're inevitably going to have one hole. I don't know what the hole is. We haven't seen the season yet, but they're going to need a pitcher. They're going to need an impact bat. They're going to need something at the deadline because every contending team needs something at the deadline. I don't know if it's going to be that fever pitch that it was in 2015 where it was you need to go get Zobrist and you need to go get Johnny Cueto. But there is no question if the Royals are the kind of team that I think they're going to be, that at the trade deadline, the expectation amongst fans is going to be, you guys have a chance to get over the hump. John Sherman, JJ Piccolo, you need to make the move that gets us over the hump. I absolutely think that's going to happen.
I 1,000% agree. There's going to be a time. We've done trade deadline shows before, and it's mostly like, oh, so-and-so got sent off. Let's call Vern. And we kind of, half do it as a bit, half do it real. This year, it is going to be, they need to add player X because that will be the player that gets them over the hump. There's going to be a time in August where we're hurtling toward the Chiefs' first preseason game, and fans, I'm not going to say they don't want to hear the first preseason game, but it coincides with the week where the Royals are playing on the road against the Guardians. And fans want us to be talking about the Guardian series because it's a massive tilt for the AL Central, and who cares about the Chiefs preseason? That is the expectation for the Royals. It should not be, we've joked before behind the scenes, just get us to June and July, man. No, they need to do their job and be a competitive baseball team start to finish. I also think you'll see Kaufman start to fill up if they do that again. I think this town is hungry for winning baseball, and if you start to satiate that appetite, you will see the Kaufman very full.
Do you think that happens with the World Cup?
That is fascinating, and I think the answer is yes.
I think the World Cup's going to take a lot of people's attention this summer. A lot of people's attention.
I think it could be a good thing for the Royals, though. Let's say, like, the World Cup takes your attention. You take 3 weeks off of baseball. Then you come back. You're like, oh.
And they're in it. Yeah, they're in it
for
sure.
Now you're all in, as opposed to you took 3 weeks off, you come back, and they're in third. You're like, oh, who cares? I do think it'll take attention away in June, but I think it will then reignite a fire in July when the tournament leaves town.
Yeah, like I'm looking at, they don't really have a lot of home games in the month of June.
No,
they don't have a whole lot of home games in June. They're on the road a lot in June. Just a lot in June.
Parking lot's full those weekends, buddy.
Yeah, they're on the road a lot in July, honestly, too. Yeah, I mean, once they get to that, yeah, it's a little bit different. But yeah, no, like looking at their schedule, I just pulled it up. I hadn't really seen it from a month by month view. Yeah, in June, they don't have a whole lot of. They don't really have a whole lot. They basically got the Cardinals, and that's about it. That's about it. They're on the road. They're on the road a lot. in the month of. They also have that random Saturday off because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
They got that random Saturday off. That might actually be a fun weekend. We got Royals, Cardinals, and we got a World Cup game that week. That's going to be a fun week.
What day is that? What World Cup game is it? That's the real question.
I don't know. It's the June 20th because, they play the 18th, 19th. They have an off day on a Saturday, and then they have a Sunday game against the Cardinals at Kaufman.
I don't think
that's the Argentina game?
No, Argentina's on. That's Ecuador, Curacao. So
okay, that's a barn burner.
That's where you can go to
that's
if you're
a barn
Kansas
burner.
City. That's where it doesn't cost a mortgage payment to get out there.
Yeah, I can't wait to be at that one. That's going to be a barn. Saturday night? That game's like late, too, you told me.
That's
like
9 o'clock.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. It's the latest game ever in Kansas City history. That game's starting like an NAIA game. 9 o'clock?
I'm trying to think. What was that year where the Chiefs opened with the Chargers on Monday Night Football, and they were the second game of the doubleheader?
Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That's the only equivalent I can think of.
Goodness gracious. I didn't know they had it. I didn't know it was like that. So we got a great weekend coming up in college basketball. I think the Elite Eight's going to be good. The ratings have really reflected people's interest in this year's NCAA tournament. I think it's been good. I know we get a lot of complaints and conversation about how bad and evil NIL is. I think NIL has absolutely made college basketball in March a better product. Here's Ian Eagle.
Last year, once NIL really settled in and teams figured out how to allot their money, how to identify talent, how to create chemistry, we did have the 4 best teams in college basketball battling at the Final Four, and we had 3 excellent games. Duke and Houston was phenomenal, came down to the wire, a comeback by the Cougars. Auburn, Florida was a battle. They're going blow for blow in that matchup, and then the national championship comes down to one possession where this is an anomaly. A team doesn't even get a shot off on the final possession because of the defense that was played, and Florida wins the national championship. I think the fact that Nebraska and Iowa are a part of this thing, and nobody thought they would be, yes, they're from the Big Ten, but that is what this tournament is all about, that there's someone in this field that still has a chance to cut down the net that you did not anticipate. And because it's not from a mid-major program doesn't mean that the tournament is not what it once was.
I agree with Ian Eagle. I understand the complaints when it comes to NIL, and like most things, there needs to be some level of restriction when it comes to it and the transfer portal. In no ways do I think the college athletics is a perfect product by any means. I think it's kind of hard to watch these games and come to the conclusion that keeping more talent in college basketball has been bad for it. Spreading out some of the talent and making Nebraska and Iowa more viable teams, I kind of find it hard to believe that that's been a negative for the sport. So, yes, we have killed off the school in the conference that you never heard of before. The Power Four teams are stronger than they've been in quite some time, which I think ultimately has led to better games, better quality, better matchups, and a pretty fun and exciting tournament. I'm ready for the tournament to get going again this weekend. We'll keep talking Royals baseball and getting you ready for opening day, which is this Friday in Atlanta. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
30 years ago, Wu-Tang Clan changed hip-hop forever. Last year, they sold out arenas worldwide, and now the final chamber comes back home. Wu-Tang Clan, an encore. If you saw it last year, you know what this means. If you didn't, this is the moment. Morton Amphitheater, September 2nd, with special guests, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at thewutangclan.com. Wu-Tang Forever, Killer Bees, swarming on new locations, live in Kansas City.
Feeling the heat? Don't sweat it. Turn to Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling. With temperatures rising, now's the time to make sure your AC is ready to keep you cool. Whether it's your home or your business, Comfort Systems services both residential and commercial systems across the Kansas City area. Call today for a fast tune-up, repair, or a system upgrade so you can stay cool all summer long. Family owned and operated since 1990, comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all.
One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
It's about time delivery worked on your schedule. Same day, next day, or scheduled in advance. However you plan it, the Home Depot delivers the whole job. From drywall to doors, plumbing to paint, we'll get it there when you need it. Because on the job site, timing is everything. You order, we deliver. It's that easy. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
Here they come. A baseball-sized hailstorm means every roofer for 500 miles is on his way here to ring your doorbell. Before that happens, go online to jrstormcheck.com and relax. JR & Company is locally owned, veteran-owned, and family-owned. JR & Company offers a lifetime warranty on workmanship. But best of all, JR & Company offers a free Class 4 shingle upgrade. What does that mean? Most insurance companies offer premium discounts on Class 4 shingles. Remember, no roofer can legally offer to pay your deductible, but a free shingle upgrade can reduce premiums for years to come. Why do we do this? Because we can. A lifetime workmanship warranty and free shingle upgrade. It's why we say,
You're always better with a roof from JR.
just visit jrstormcheck.com.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen at odyssey.com.
Royals coverage is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Cleanup continues down on 49 northbound at 435. Two right lanes are blocked. This crash involves several cars. You're slow all the way back through Grandview. You'll tap your brakes. 70 westbound past Troost. Right lane blocked. Records on the scene. This one will be out of your way here pretty soon. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Can I ask you guys something? When they have these new ideas for food out at Kaufman Stadium, do you guys go order this? So they have 3 new food ideas in addition to the 999 challenge. So they're doing the 999 challenge. We told you guys this yesterday. It's $50. You get 9 mini hot dogs. You get 9 flights of beer, which is equal to 3 beers. $50. It comes in a cool little tray. That's the vibes. Aramark is adding 3 specialty food options. One is the beef short rib corn dog. They have a beef short rib with buttermilk cornbread coating, Parmesan breadcrumbs, beef demi-glaze, and truffle mac and cheese. You can go get this at Hey Batter Batter. This is at section 239. Are people going to get these specialty food items? They also have the beef Wellington hot dog. This is a foot-long hot dog topped with prosciutto, minced mushrooms, chipotle ketchup, and yellow mustard. This is all inside a puff pastry that's also over at Hey Batter Batter, section 239. Now, if you order this stuff, that's great. I am curious, are people actually out at Aramark ordering these things? Because if there's one place I'm not really trying to get super adventurous with the menu, it's at Kaufman Stadium. There's some places, hey, I'll get adventurous. Not really at the ballpark. And if you are somebody that orders this, I never want to hear you complain about the parking prices. Ever. I know. You would go to more games if the parking was cheaper. I know. I get it. I understand. How dare they charge for parking at the game? I know. I'm on your side. We're on the same boat here. But you can't be ordering a beef Wellington hot dog and a tall boy and how dare they charge me for parking? Come on now. You walk right past the regular hot dog. You also walk right past the foot-long hot dog. You walk past the bratwurst and the Italian sausage, and you got the Gordon Ramsay hot dog. I don't want to hear you complaining about a parking pass.
Especially if you're out there on one of the buck nights or dollar night, whatever they're calling it now, dollar dog night. You walk right past the or you decide I'm not going to walk over to the value menu stand. I'm going to get did you say truffle mac and cheese comes with the corn dog? That can't be cheap.
That's what it is, truffle mac and cheese.
Truffle mac and cheese ain't cheap anywhere. I imagine at Kaufman it's definitely not cheap.
Beef short rib corn dog. Hey, one of these influencers, I actually need them to order this and just tell me. That one actually doesn't sound that bad. I would get that one.
What's the third one? So the three, only two.
There's a chicken and waffle cone. It is boneless chicken wings in a thin homemade waffle cone.
Okay, I would try that. I would give that one a shot. I don't like truffle. I don't like mushrooms. I would give that one a shot.
If I see somebody, I don't care where we are, if I see you eating boneless wings out of an ice cream cone, I think you're weird. I think you're weird. I genuinely think you're weird. There's nothing wrong with chicken and waffles. Chicken and waffles are great. That's not the way to consume chicken and waffles. If you want to go get chicken tenders, just go get chicken tenders. If you want ice cream, just go get ice cream. Eat the cone and the chicken and waffle cone? I'm not getting that. There's too many other great options out there at Kaufman Stadium. Go out there in right field and go to Grinders and get yourself a cheesesteak. Get yourself the Hellman Nacho. Get yourself the Chicken Z-Man. The chicken waffle cone?
I'm not saying it's my top item, but of the new items, it's the most likely I am to order.
That's insane.
I bet it's the cheapest of all the new items. There's no way it's
$22 probably.
There's no way it's more expensive than truffle mac and cheese. No chance. None.
You trust an Aramark with truffle mac and cheese? If I get truffle mac and cheese, I need to be at a nice sit-down fancy restaurant.
I'm at 1587.
Yeah.
I am not at section 134.
One rule I feel should be pretty universal. If there's a mascot here, there shouldn't also be truffle mac and cheese. You can't have both. You can't have Slugger and truffle mac and cheese. Any place that has a merry-go-round can't also have truffle mac and cheese. Those two things just don't go together. They don't go together. Beef Wellington hot dog. I would kind of try that one. Both of those first ones I would try. We might got to stop by Hey Batter Batter. You know what's always just the go-to at a baseball game? A good Frosty Malt. Frosty Malt doesn't hit the same anywhere else outside of the ballpark.
That's got to be a day game vibe, though. I don't
mind a night game. I don't mind a Friday night 6:40 pitch in the second inning getting me a Frosty Malt.
Maybe. But you're telling me it's a Wednesday night and it's 8:15 and they're in the 8th. I'm getting a Frosty Malt? That's weirdo behavior. And definitely not in the first or last month of the year. You're telling me September you got a hoodie on, you're eating a Frosty Malt? No, thank you. That is June 11th. They're playing a day game against the Cardinals. It's a 1 p.m. It's 107 out.
Oh,
That's the move.
Then people go say you can't go. It's too hot outside. It's hot outside. It's parking. It's too much. It's too much.
Well, the World Cup now. How can I do it all?
Someone said we need barbecue sauce in the hot dog derby. I mean, I've been offering this suggestion for years. I don't know why we haven't.
But do people put barbecue sauce on their hot dogs? Is that a thing? It's like
For sure.
Not like for like the contest. But like, do people really leave Aramark with their dollar dog? They walk over to the condiment station
At
and
the
they
function?
and they
no. At the condiment station, no. I mean
I'm
at the
saying
function.
At the game. It's fine.
No, at the game, no. I'm not doing
That's
that. But
why I don't want it in the game. No one in a baseball game is ever been like, I got a hot dog. Let me pump some barbecue sauce
okay,
onto
no,
it.
that's fair. But I'm saying is if you invited me over to the house for a barbecue, Caroline's throwing some food on the grill, and there is some hot dog buns and some Gates barbecue sauce, I will absolutely drizzle my hot dog with a little Gates barbecue sauce and knock this bad boy out 100%. Now, I'm not putting any other kind of barbecue sauce on there. You're out here putting Sweet Baby Ray's on your hot dog? Bro, if you don't go get some mustard and ketchup and go sit down somewhere, you're doing a lot.
This is why I'm clarifying. I knew it was a thing like societally. I meant like at a baseball game. Has anyone ever walked over to, I don't even know what kind of barbecue sauce they have at Kaufman? Is it Sweet Baby Ray's? Is it like Heinz? I don't know what they're offering out there. I've never gotten barbecue sauce at the K other than when I'm at Joe's in the corner. But you're telling me you're going to get a hot dog out of section 412 and pump barbecue sauce onto it? That's weird behavior to me.
Okay. Somebody said that's basically just a little smoky. It's a hot dog with barbecue sauce.
Again, at the house,
that's
totally,
a good point.
At the house, totally fine. It just feels weird to do out there.
That's a good point. I mean, I'm just a mustard guy myself. Just give me a little mustard. I'll take regular mustard. I'll take honey mustard. I'll take spicy mustard. I like mustard.
I'm a mustard guy. I'm also a big kraut guy. Last year, I had to search high and low to get sauerkraut. I found a stall that had it. I was in a good spot.
You're sick. That's what you are. You're sick.
Hold on. Sauerkraut is a staple of the hot dog community. Or if you go to upgrade to brat, you got to have it.
No.
What do you mean no?
No thanks. I'll take a little onions, a little peppers.
Onions are way weirder on a hot dog than
No, I love the
sauerkraut.
little onion. Give me the little onion. Oh my goodness. I like the little crunch with my dog. I do. I like a little crunch now. A little crunch. I like how at Quick Trip they give you all the condiments.
Go crazy.
I'll put a little banana pepper on there. I'll really start to experiment out there. Somebody said stop letting Cody participate in the hot dog derby. How many times has he done it? Has he frequented the hot dog derby a bunch?
I think he's trying for a third this year.
What's his record?
0-2.
You're done. How many chances do you get? No, I'm with you. You can't do the hot dog derby again. You've done it twice. You lost 2 times. You're eliminated. You had your opportunity. You did it once, and you got a rematch, and you weren't good enough. You're not fast enough to compete in the hot dog derby. Do a different game. You know, Cody should do that game with the bases where you got to run down and then run back in 30 seconds. Yeah, you can do that. You can try to beat virtual Bobby Witt Jr., but yeah, doing the hot dog derby, you're done. You're cooked. You're washed when it comes to that contest. Coming up at the top of the hour, has Bill Self coached his last game in Lawrence? We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Cleanup continues down on 49 northbound at 435. 2 right lanes are blocked. This crash involves several cars. You're slow all the way back through Grandview. You'll tap your brakes. 70 westbound past Troost. Right lane blocked. Records on the scene. This one will be out of your way here pretty soon. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You see how this all comes together? We were just talking about Gates barbecue sauce. The next time you are at the grocery store, make sure you stop by and get yourself a little bit of Gates barbecue sauce. Get yourself a little bit of Gates barbecue seasoning. It is all purpose. You can put that on your chicken. You can put that on your barbecue. You can put it on your salad. You can put it on your fries. You can put it on your vegetables. Whatever you're cooking up, Gates barbecue season is likely going to improve what you are making. Easter is right around the corner, so you know that's a big food holiday. Make sure the Gates Barbecue is a part of whatever your plans are. Get yourself a small party tray, large party tray. We got some big-time basketball games to watch. Maybe you have people over. Maybe you're having a watch party. Go ahead and get that presidential platter. Whatever your food needs are here, as we are in the spring, summer's right around the corner, tailgate season is right around the corner, baseball season is here. Whatever you got going on, I'm telling you, Gates Barbecue is going to enhance your experience. It's Carrington Harrison here telling you tonight, go stop by any one of the Area 5 locations.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor. Breathe happy Febreze. La, 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 la.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Royals coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Who is the area's only dealer for Fronius professional welding equipment? Metal by the Foot, located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again. So call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
This is Kevin Harlan, and if I sound a little tired, it's because it's Ford Truck Month at Rob's Side Ford.
You and me both, Kevin. It's been nonstop.
Well, Rob, remind me again why.
Because Rob's Site Ford is offering brand new F-150s up to $16,500 off, 0% financing for 60 months, and 0 payments for 90 days.
Yes, that'll do it.
And that's just the F-150s. We've got the best deals of the year on Super Duty, Ranger, and Maverick.
Okay, so let me get this straight, Rob. Massive savings, strong financing, no payments for 3 months, and people are showing up?
It's nonstop.
Funny how that works.
Turns out, when you've got the inventory, the price, and the experience, people notice.
Especially when you're Kansas City's #1 top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars and over 3,000 reviews.
And Kansas City's top volume F-150 dealer.
No wonder you're tired. It's Ford Truck Month at Rob's Side Ford. 135th and State Line, or robsite.com.
But don't wait, these offers end soon.
Your reputation matters. That's why so many landscape professionals choose Grave Lee. You can save up to 20% on Grave Lee commercial mowers during the Grave Lee Mow the Distance sales event going on now through the 29th. Visit your local Grave Lee dealer today.
Join 96.5 at Maloney Sports Bar and Grill in Overland Park for a Royals and Braves watch party Friday, March 27th with first pitch just after 6 right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFMC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here with you on this wonderful Tuesday. We have a lot to get into. The top story to me in Kansas City is, what does the future look like for the Kansas basketball program? There's just a lot of uncertainty right now around their program, and all of that primarily stems from, I don't know what their coach is going to do. Now, if you were asking me my opinion, this is not me reporting it, I don't know. But from rumblings behind the scenes and what people are willing to say publicly, I think Bill Self's retiring at some point in the next 10 days. The transfer portal opens up on April 7th. Kansas has to have a decision in place by the beginning of the transfer portal. I think that Bill Self is about to step down due to health reasons. I want to play for you guys what Mike Vernon had to say. I don't think there is a person who is more knowledgeable about what is going on inside the Kansas basketball program than Mike Vernon. He was on the midday show earlier today. He said that he is hearing that Self is leaning towards retiring.
The latest that I'm hearing is kind of this expectation or reality, or at least preparation around KU, that Bill Self will not be back next year. But I don't think a final decision has been made yet, or at least last I had heard. It was as of yesterday. So we're still 24, 36 hours at that time away from, a emotional, painful tournament loss. But the initial thoughts were that may be his last game at Kansas.
That was Mike Vernon on the midday show earlier today. We'll talk more about the coaching possibilities here coming up in a little bit. I told you guys this yesterday. I think if you are making a list of coach and his success at a school, so John Wooden at UCLA, Coach K at Duke, I don't think you can make a top 10 list that doesn't include Bill Self and his time at Kansas. Overwhelming success. They won 2 national championships while he was there. They went to 4 Final Fours while he was there. They won the Big 12 tournament 9 times. They won the Big 12 regular season 17 times while Bill Self was in Lawrence. It is almost impossible to have more success at a stop at a school than Bill Self has had. But there are, I would say, 2 major questions that are circling around Kansas. One, what is Bill going to do? And then the second question is, if Bill decides to step down, what's the plan? Is the plan to promote Jacques Vaughn or Jeremy Case, or is the plan to go on a nationwide coaching search? We have seen both of these options. North Carolina kept it in-house. It didn't look like it worked. They're about to fire their head coach 5 years later. It is working tremendously at Duke. Villanova also tried this strategy. It did not work with an in-house hire. Kentucky went outside the family to hire somebody. It is not working so far for them. So I can't tell you what is the right or wrong way to do this if you are Kansas. It is a roll of the dice with any strategy that you could quite possibly have. We'll get to who some of the possible coaches could be. Here is Mike Vernon, who was on the midday show, and he was asked for a timetable on Bill Self's decision.
I think they expect it to be pretty quick here. I would think that internally and for the players, because they kind of need to make their plans too, something here probably before the end of the week is what it sounded like. I don't know when things will be public, probably, shortly after that. But that's kind of the expectation, that it would go pretty quick. Self said he wanted to get back home, talk with his family, and, I think it's mostly a health decision for him on if it's a good idea to keep doing this. So again, not final, but just kind of the expectation around KU that it would go quick and that they would let players start making plans.
So that is Mike Vernon, who is covering the Kansas Jayhawks. This is what I would tell Coach Self if I was Travis Goff, who was the AD at Kansas. I would say take a week. It is March 24th. You have March 31st. The transfer portal opens up March 7th, or April 7th, excuse me. The transfer portal opens up exactly 14 days from now. It is one day after the national championship, and the transfer portal is open from the 7th to the 21st. Now, players can commit to a school outside of the transfer portal. You can only enter the transfer portal during that time. So if you're Flory and there's uncertainty about your head coach, I kind of want to know before I make a decision if I'm going to enter the transfer portal or not. If I'm Bryson Tiller, for example, a kid that I would advise him to stay at Kansas. Well, if I don't know who the head coach is going to be, I'm probably going to entertain the portal a little bit, and maybe you don't get him back. So I don't think it's trying to rush Coach Self. I don't think it's trying to force any decision. I think it is just you have to do this for your program because of the way the calendar is set up. So you don't have a month. This isn't the NFL where you can tell Travis, hey, take a month off and you can just come back to us and let us know what decision you made. No, you got like 10 days that you need to make this decision. You also got to put together who you think the head coach is going to be. So let's say that Bill Self doesn't make this decision until, let's say, next Friday, for example. Let's say that it is April 3rd that he ends up making his decision. The transfer portal opens up on Monday or on Tuesday. You got to go interview Arizona's head coach. You got to go interview Michigan's head coach. You got to conduct this nationwide search. Man, it's just a short period of time to do everything that you need to do to get ready and be in preparation for this 2026 season. So I think a week's time is a realistic time. Turn your phone off. There's not much recruiting that needs to happen right now. You've already locked up your high school players. This is why you have a staff. This is why Jock Vaughn's here and Case is here and Curtis Townsend. You handle the day-to-day stuff. I'm going to go off somewhere with my wife, going to go somewhere, talk to my family. I'm going to make a decision about what I am going to do and what the future looks like. I don't know if Coach Self is going to retire right now or not. It's just pure speculation on my part and just trying to read the tea leaves. But I would say this, if I am a Kansas fan, if I'm a Kansas alum, and I'm somebody who ultimately has to make this decision, you don't have a whole lot of time left. It might be a week. It might be a year. Bill Self is not going to be the head coach of Kansas for 3 more years. I don't think that we are going to be having this conversation for the next 5 years at the end of every basketball season about what Coach Self is going to do. If he comes back, I think it's a Travis Kelce situation. I'm going to come back for 1 more year, so you need to plan for what your succession plan is after I leave. You need to be preparing. So if that is having a list ready, if that is having conversations with Jock Vaughn about how he can assume more of a role because you got a coach in waiting, whether that is Jeremy Case, whether that's starting to kind of keep an eye on the landscape of who's that up-and-coming mid-major head coach, who's that head coach that we think is potentially right for the job. If you are Travis Goff, yes, the stadium upgrade and the new stadium was a massive endeavor, something that Kansas athletics desperately needed. This is one of the hardest tasks that an athletic director has ever been faced with. You have overwhelming success at a place that loves college basketball more than just about any campus in America. You have to replace its most successful head coach with someone who can keep up the same quality and the same standard that our fan base and our donors and our alumni are used to. It is a very, very difficult job. So I would give Coach Self a week if I'm everybody, and I would try to have this decision wrapped up as we are heading into April to give yourself some time to prepare for the open of the transfer portal.
I think timeline is the biggest thing. Now, I agree with you. I don't think Bill Self is the coach of Kansas in 2028. I think it's either a one and done and he's got a great recruiting class coming in, and he tries to do the Coach K. Remember, Coach K said, I'm going to do one last ride, and then he lost in the Final Four. But that's kind of what Coach K did. I could see him doing that. I could see him saying, hey, I've had some health scares this year. I have done everything I can do in my life at Kansas. I'm a grandfather. I'm going to walk away. I don't know what Bill Self's going to do. But I know this. Bill Self is very cognizant of the calendar. Bill Self is aware of the undertaking that Travis Goff and whoever is going to have if he does decide to retire. And I don't think he is going to drag this out. I think by the end of the week, we have a decision. Either A, Jeff Goodman or whomever comes out a news release, Bill Self decides he's going to coach for one more year at Kansas. He's looking forward to recruiting Tyron Stokes, blah, 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 blah. Or it's going to be same tweet, except I was going to say Bill Self is resigning from Kansas after 23 years, all the success, citing health reasons. Kansas will begin a national search. I agree. I get your point about waiting a week. I don't think you can wait more than the end of this week. And I think the fact that Self has kind of been talking about the end for a couple of years now of time as Kansas makes me think he's at least thought about this more than once. I think this decision is going to come a lot faster than you think.
I want to play for you guys one more cut. This is from Shreyas Ladha. He was on the show yesterday. I asked him, do you think the hire is going to come from inside the family or outside the family? Here's what he said.
Kind of like a testing out process in the sense of they both want to figure each other out. Kansas wants to figure out, does Jock want this job? And Jock needs to figure out if he wants this job. But I don't expect it to be they don't look outside hiring process. I expect them to go look at external candidates. They should look at Dusty May. They should look at Tommy Lloyd. They should look at Dan Hurley. They should look at Golden. This is Kansas. They've had 8 head coaches in history. You have to be correct about the next one. And, the only head coach that has a losing record is the inventor of basketball. I think Kansas, Travis Goff, has seen what some of the other Blue Bloods have had to go through when legendary coaches have left. I don't think he's going to make the mistake of just trying to hire a program guy or a guy affiliated with KU. I think he's going to go through the due process with the hiring committee and go through all the candidates in different ways. And, I think ideally you have a better outcome than Kentucky has, because I think, there are probably more coaches willing to kind of move to Kansas.
This would be my question to Kansas. And I know this is going to sound like I don't think the Kansas job is amazing. And it obviously is amazing. It's one of the 3 best jobs in college basketball. This would be a genuine question that I have. I guess point I have, not a question. Point. I think it is going to be harder to fulfill the job given the expectations that are there. And I think there are more schools than Kansas fans are willing to acknowledge that have very similar resources that they have. They might not have the basketball history and tradition that Kansas does, but for example, Michigan has almost every advantage that Kansas has, they have as a program. Kansas is a better athletic department than Kansas is. So if I'm the head coach at Michigan right now, if I'm Dusty May, I don't know if I'm leaving Michigan with its donor base, with its recruiting base in the Big Ten, a better conference. I don't know if I'm leaving that situation to go be the head coach at Kansas. If I am Tommy Lloyd and I'm doing a phenomenal job at Arizona, Arizona doesn't have nearly the basketball expectations that Kansas does. I'm showing you I can go to the Final Four. I'm showing you I can get star freshmen. I'm showing you I can compete in this same conference for a national championship. I don't know if I'm leaving the Arizona job to then take over the Kansas job. I think those are the number 1 and number 2 guys on the list. I think they're the best possible candidates that's out there. Would Todd Golden leave his job to end up taking that one? He's got a little bit of a checkered history. I think the best thing that Kansas could do is I think they need to find the Todd Golden who just a few years ago was at San Francisco. Missouri tried to hire Todd Golden. They actually had it down between Todd Golden and Dennis Gates, and Todd Golden took the Florida job, and then they obviously hired Dennis Gates. So, they tried to identify who that guy was. They did. He just didn't choose them. You need to identify Dusty May. Dusty May a couple years ago was at Florida Atlantic. He took them to a Final Four. They had great success. He then went on to go get the Michigan job. I think it is going to be harder than Kansas fans realize to take those two guys from those established situations where I think they are very comparable to Kansas in terms of resources, ability to recruit, ability to win. And I think they need to not set their expectations lower, but I think they are either going to have to hire St. Louis's head coach, who looks like if you gave him those same resources, he could continue to do a phenomenal job, or you're going to have to hire maybe a little bit notch below that power coach to get him to take the Kansas job. I think we saw this exact same thing happen in college football this past year. When Penn State was looking for a head coach, it took them a little bit. They hired Iowa State's head coach. When Florida was looking for a head coach, Florida hired Tulane's head coach. When Auburn was looking for a head coach, they hired South Florida's head coach. I think some of these power schools are having a tougher time than people think to convince somebody to leave, given if you don't get this thing going in 2-3 years, you're on the hot seat to get fired.
So me and you just don't see this the same. I'll take this point by point. To your first point about pressure, you are right. The Kansas job invites pressure that a lot of jobs in college basketball don't have. But you view that as a negative. I don't. There are coaches in college basketball and in football, all sports, that they want that. They don't want to hide, in the shadows. They want the limelight. They want the pressure because that's where they thrive. The same way that we talk about in college basketball, hey, who's a player who wants that last shot? There are coaches who want this job. They want the Carolina job. If Duke had done a full search, the pressure Duke to be behind K would have been absolutely crippling. But I think there were a ton of coaches who would say, sign me up for that because it's Duke. I think the pressure is actually a positive because it shows Kansas cares about college basketball at a level that I don't know any job in America really does. And number two, I also don't see their hiring process the same way you do. I don't think they need to go find Josh Schertz from St. Louis. I think they can poach from almost anywhere in the country. Maybe they can't poach John Shire.
I would have thought that same thing about Kentucky. Kentucky was not able to do that.
I think where it's different with Kentucky is this. They ran Coach Cal out, and they had to put a lot of money together to get him out of town. They had to pool a lot of resources to send him packing. And then, you know how it works. Even though there's a ton of money in college sports, it ain't an endless, steady stream. And they wanted Scott Drew. They couldn't make it work. They wanted a lot of people. They couldn't make it work. They ended up with Mark Pope. Bill Self resigning is not the same as running Cal out of town. I think they could get a Dusty May. I think they could get a Tommy Lloyd. I think they could get TJ Otzelberger from Iowa State.
I agree with that. I'm saying I think you and I agree for the most part.
We're very close.
But I'm saying is, if you're telling me they can take Iowa State's coach, I 100% agree they can take Iowa State's coach.
I think Iowa State and Michigan are in a very similar tier basketball.
I think Michigan's a clear better athletic department than Iowa State. And some of it is just based on how much football money that there is. But I'm sitting here reading it right now. If you trust the reports, Michigan spent more money on NIL this past year than Kansas did. So I'm just saying I have everything I need here. If I'm the head coach of Michigan, you have all of the resources that you need to be able to go out there and win. You've got the donor base, you got the fan support, you got NIL support. I just don't know why you would leave the Michigan job if you are having the success that he is currently having at Michigan. Iowa State's different. I'm with you. Iowa State, to me, is a clear notch below where those programs are. So, you can absolutely take Iowa State's coach away from him, 100%.
I guess I'm viewing Michigan as a basketball program versus an athletic department. Because you're right. The Michigan athletic department is clearly superior to Iowa State.
I think that stuff matters, though. I just think the athletic department and their ability to generate funds now, I think that stuff matters.
I think coaches don't care about the funds on the other side. Like, Michigan football money, we imagine, is crazy. Like, if their NIL money is just...
Yeah.
But I don't think Dusty May is like, do I stay here because, Kyle Whittingham's pumping cash into the athletic department at a level I've never seen before? Or do I go to Kansas where I get all the same stuff, but I'm number one in town? Maybe Tommy Lloyd. I think the Kansas athletic department is better than Arizona, by the way. Maybe Tommy Lloyd says I want the better athletic department. I don't know, but I think there is Kansas has more poachability than I think you think. And maybe they do end up with Otzelberger. And the most jacked coach in college basketball is in Lawrence. But I don't think they need to go find their version of Todd Golden when he was at San Francisco.
I'm not really debating with you on do I think Kansas has poachability. I think they clearly have poachability.
I think to the level of poachability is where we disagree.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think my point is I think we saw just this past year in college football that there are way more coaches than we want to acknowledge that are thinking now in this NIL world, the brand maybe doesn't mean as much to these kids as it used to. The tradition and the honor of playing with them, that it is about, A, am I getting enough money and enough support from my athletic department to go out and field a very, very competitive basketball team? So I think, for example, and I'm not comparing these two situations by any means, I think Eli Drinkwitz, if he really wanted to, could have been the head coach of Florida last year. I think Eli Drinkwitz had every opportunity to leave Missouri and go be the head coach of Florida. Everybody listening would agree that Florida is a better football program than Missouri. But if I'm going to get paid comparable to what Missouri is, we're going to spend very similar NIL money than what Florida is. And I also don't have the expectations that Florida has. If you win 7 or 8 games at Missouri, they will never fire you as their head coach. You'll keep making $7-8 million a year, and then one day they'll build a statue and they'll celebrate that you stayed there. Man, if you take the Kansas job and that thing's not just good in the last 5 years, I would say, let's say they hire their next coach. And let's say that he has the exact same success that Bill Self has post-national championship, that coach gets fired by year 5. I'm saying is we take the exact same Kansas team that we've just seen, and they do everything that they've done since the national championship. They have not made it past the round of Sweet 16. They won the Big 12 one time. If that is what the next coach does, which is incredible, they won 20 games in each of the last 4 years. They made the tournament. They have been the higher seed in every single NCAA tournament. They won the conference. If that's what the next 4 years of Kansas basketball looks like, fans will be screaming to get that coach fired. 100% screaming to get that guy fired. So I understand why some coaches are thinking, this job's not going to pay me much more than what my job currently is. I make as much NIL money where I currently am. Why not just stay here and I can still win championships here without the expectation or ever being on the hot seat? And that's my point more than anything about how hard I think it is to poach guys away from good jobs now.
And this is where I think there's a good way to describe it, because I think that's the crux there is where we see it a little differently. And by the way, we didn't do a true hits, but the hits are brought to you by Salvation Army. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch, which is on May 7th. I still think if NIL and all those things are equal, there are still some jobs in both college football and college basketball that carry a higher cachet. I think if Steve Sarkisian retired tomorrow from Texas, the Texas job, you're not there.
I agree. 100%.
Because it has a cachet. Alabama's football saw a little bit on hard times. If they had fired Kalen DeBoer, I think it would be one of the more sought-after jobs, despite the fact I bet Alabama's NIL resource is very similar to LSU or Ole Miss.
Yeah, for sure.
I still think in college sports, there's the 1% of jobs where, yes, the NIL funding and the institutional support is great here and great here, but this job is North Carolina basketball. This job is Alabama football. I think Kansas basketball falls into that echelon where they are Carolina, they are Duke, they are, Kansas. And then in football, it's Alabama, Texas. I think Notre Dame and Ohio State are still in that cachet. I still think there's a 1% in college sports that you just can't account for. And that's, I think, where me and you just disagree on the poachability for the Kansas job.
Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, show me in Kansas history where a coach has been outed in less than 5 years. When they want their guy, they just don't mitch. So they're winning his program in NCAA history. No, you're right. I mean, but we also at least have to acknowledge with Kansas that for the last 30-something years, they have had a Hall of Fame coach as their head coach. They've had a Hall of Fame head coach. Larry Brown was the head coach. They handed it off to Roy Williams, who then handed it off to Bill Self. They have had unprecedented. There is not a college program, basketball, I guess, other than Duke, but Duke has missed the NCAA tournament in recent memory. There is not a college program that is comparable to Kansas in their amount of success. Not one that's close. I'm saying is, look at Hubert Davis. Hubert Davis in 5 years has made the tournament 4 times, went to the national championship, made the second weekend, and he's about to get fired after 5 years. Like, man, when the expectations are where they are at Kansas and Duke and North Carolina, man, if you don't hit the ground running, it is going to be long. It's going to be hard for you. And that's where I think some of these coaches, again, I think some of these coaches are just saying, man, it's stressful to get some of these jobs. And I got it good here. I make $7 million a year. I'm not in any danger of being fired. I'm just going to stay here and continue to build what I'm building. I think Kansas could run into that if their job is open. And keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
The weather is changing, so that means spring is here and baseball season is right around the corner. FanDuel is letting you choose your own reward for opening week. Betting customizations that transform how you experience baseball. I can't remember the last time that optimism was this high heading into the baseball season, and you're not going to want to miss the action with America's #1 sportsbook app, FanDuel. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready on your next MLB bet. FanDuel is the home for home runs, exciting plays, and now that you can choose your own reward for opening week, baseball just got more exciting. The Royals are making the playoffs this year. You saw how they performed in the World Baseball Classic, so get in on the action early. Are you ready to play your game? Head to FanDuel.com/local to choose your reward for MLB's opening week. FanDuel is an official partner of MLB and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and total expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Brought to you by Kalshi. Trade on anything. March matchups are here. Trade the tournament in all 50 states on Kalshi. Duke is trading at 19% to win it all. A $100 trade pays out $498 if they win. Arizona and Michigan are trading at 22%. Download the Kalshi app and use code FAN to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Join Cody and Gold live this Friday, 10 to 2 at Rally House Independence for the Rally With Us MLB opening day event. Shop Royals gear. First 100 fans get up to 40% off. Plus chances to win gift cards and home opener tickets courtesy of The Fan. Details at 965thefan.com.
Ever wonder why Fanatics Sportsbook is America's fastest online growing sportsbook? Other sportsbooks? Well, their rewards are just the same old, same old. But Fan Cash is the ultimate sports currency, and betting with Fanatics lets you stack Fan Cash. With Fanatics Sportsbook, you can get up to 10% Fan Cash back on your wagers, win or lose. Use your Fan Cash to unlock the world of Fanatics with unlimited profit boosts, exclusive merch, collectibles, and so much more. If you want value for bets, Fanatics will always have your back. And don't forget about Fan Cash draws. It's simple. Choose your draw and enter with Fan Cash for a shot at no sweat bets, casino credit, premium sports experiences, tickets, and more. Extraordinary prizes await. Did I also mention they are giving away millions in Fan Cash this year with games like Fan Cash Drop? Tap in every Friday and see what the fuss is all about. Switch to a sportsbook that will always give you more to play with. Download the Fanatics Sportsbook app today. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Whether you're commuting to work or heading out for a fast coffee break, getting an auto insurance quote is just a tap away. With AAA, you're always connected, so you can focus on the road ahead. Rest easy knowing AAA's got you covered, no matter where life takes you. AAA, we're always with you. To start your quote, visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Baseball is back. Opening night is one exclusive game, and it's live on Netflix. On Wednesday, March 25th, the New York Yankees, led by seven-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the Bay Area to face Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. A brand new way to watch Major League Baseball, and it all starts here. MLB opening night, Yankees vs. Giants, live on Netflix, Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
And we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning.
Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain Scent Boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Okay, 2 problems on 70 Kansas side of things. You've got 70 westbound just past 7th. Move to the left. It is the right lane blocked by a crash and emergency vehicles. And then 70 westbound at 18th. You want to stay to the left. Yep, right lane blocked there as well. And then let's see downtown. That stall's still working. 70 westbound past Troost, right lane blocked. Wreckers on the scene. That one should have been cleared here and will be, I'm sure, any minute now. Dime Valley traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
All right, welcome back into the show. Let's talk a little bit of Royals baseball. Mike Farron was on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, and he thinks that Bobby Witt Jr. really increases the ceiling for the Royals.
If we're going to play who outside of Aaron Judge can win the MVP award in the American League, like Bobby Witt Jr. should be the first choice there. Right? Like he's
absolutely, yeah.
Getting to watch him every day watch him play 7 games of the WBC was an absolute joy. And he didn't even have a good offensive tournament. I don't think I fully appreciated how absolutely incredible he is as a defender. Like he is
he's really
he is a remarkable player. He is so good at everything that he does that he alone, he could put up one of those he put up a nearly 10-WAR season 2 years ago, right? And Judge would just happen to be better. I don't know, man. I think so highly of him that I think he alone elevates their chances.
That was Mike Farron. He was on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio. I made this comparison earlier. I'll make it here for you guys. The Royals feel a lot like the Chicago Bears heading into the year. A lot of people liked Chicago heading into last season, felt like they had a chance to make the playoffs, felt like they were putting together the right nucleus of talent. People were really optimistic about Caleb Williams. They spent the 10th overall pick on a tight end, Romo Dunze, DJ Moore, Luther Burden. There were a lot of people that liked Chicago last year. They ended up being proven right. Chicago won their division last year. Chicago won a game in the playoffs last year. Chicago was a good team, and they are very optimistic about their future, and they feel like they have their guy. A lot of people are picking Bobby Witt Jr. to be an MVP this year, not just an all-star. I think he's already proven that. It would be a disappointment or an injury that would happen that would lead for Bobby to not be an all-star this year. He's in the prime of his career. He's made the all-star team these last couple of years. He was just a star at the World Baseball Classic. You got a legitimate all-star here. If he can put together, Rob, the season that he did in 2024, I think the Royals are winning their division. I mean, in 2024, I don't know if you can really play much better than he did. He led baseball in hits. He had 45 doubles. He stole 30 bases. He had 32 home runs, 109 RBIs. He led baseball in batting average in 2024. He had almost 400 on base percentage and was slugging .588. If that's the guy that you have in the middle of your lineup and you continue to get Garcia, who continues to develop, and Vinny Pasquantino continues to develop, we'll see what Carter Jensen looks like this year and Jack Caglione. If you got those guys as pillars of your offense, and I strongly believe the pitching is going to be back in return. I think their bullpen could be even better this year than it was last year. I think there is legitimate buzz about the Royals. I think there should be legitimate buzz. And I think we can hold them to a real expectation. This team should win 85 games or more. This team should be in it. And they should grab one of those wild card spots in the American League at a minimum this season.
I couldn't agree more. I don't want this to come off like I'm blaming Bobby Witt for last year, because by no means am I blaming Bobby Witt. But that team was, they finished 500, just below 500 last year. No, not good enough by any metric. And they did that without an outfield. But if Bobby Witt had put together in 2025 what he did in 2024, the Royals may have been a playoff team despite all their flaws last year. They were not that far off from being in the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying they were a game back on the last weekend of the season, but they were not like, oh man, 13 games back, some things were to change. They were in the hunt deep into September. What I'm saying is, if Bobby Witt can replicate what should have been an MVP season in 2024, or I guess could have been, should have been a little extreme. What could have been an MVP season in 2024, I don't think just a wild card of making the postseason the expectation. If Bobby Witt's playing at 2024 level, the AL Central is the expectation. Raising a flag that says division champs should be the expectation, because I think we kind of forget, because the team lost in the postseason, how good Aaron Judge was. Bobby was freak show good in 2024. Like, one of the best individual seasons we've seen in Kansas City since George Brett level of good in Kansas City. If he's doing that again, it shouldn't be eke in with a third wild card. It should be they have a huge ceiling and they could be hosting divisional series games in Kansas City.
Because I think if you look at the division, we don't need to talk about the White Sox. We don't need to talk about the Twins, at least based on preseason expectations. They have the over-under for the White Sox at 67 games. They have the over-under for Minnesota at 72 games. We don't really need to spend a whole lot of time talking about them. And then you're talking about those other three teams. They have the Guardians at 79.5, the Royals at 82.5, and they have the Tigers at 85.5. Now, I mean, they think the Tigers are going to be a good team. I mean, they don't think they're one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. I mean, that's not one of the top 5 to 7 over-unders this year. They think the Tigers are the favorite coming into it, which I understand why that's the case. They have the Royals and the Guardians being pretty close to each other in that second or third range, which if you hit the over on 82.5 wins, you are absolutely in the wild card conversation. And they don't think that there's a pretty big gap between the Royals and the Tigers. So I'm with you. The expectation is not, hey, just grab the final wild card spot. No, the expectation is heading into September, you have a legitimate chance of winning your division and outright skipping one of those wild card rounds, or you're the team hosting the wild card round. You're not going on the road to Baltimore. Baltimore's got to come to you in the wild card round. That's absolutely the goal and expectation in 2026.
I also think it's worth noting, I always feel like, Royals optimism this time of year kind of feels fake, but this one feels real for this reason. The Guardians were a playoff team last year. The Detroit Tigers, I believe, won the division last year. They may have actually choked it away at the end. I can't remember. They were both playoff teams. And Vegas thinks the Royals are very comparable to both those teams. They have the Tigers a little better. They have the Guardians a little worse. But a team that was a non-playoff team that had all the flaws the Royals did in 2025, Vegas is saying, yeah, they're bouncing right back. So the expectations in Kansas City should be starting to bubble up and get a little bit sky high. It shouldn't be regular Royals pessimism, doom and gloom. There is reason to believe this team could be in the playoffs and hosting wildcard rounds or winning a division and really making a run in the postseason. That should be the expectation in 2026.
I mean, I think the question for the Royals is going to be, can they avoid that year that can they avoid the month that drowns you?
They were June last year. June was horrible.
Last year, the Royals were 500 in March, over 500 in April, over 500 in May, over 500 in July, over 500 in August. The Royals were a good baseball team for most of the year, except June. They went 8-18 in June. So if you ask, hey, why did the Royals miss the playoffs last year? They missed the playoffs because one month they were 10 games under 500 and then had to spend basically the entire second half of the season trying to dig themselves out of the hole that they created for themselves. That's how they only won 82 games last year. If the Royals last year just go 12-14 in that month, still under 500, you win 86 games last year and they make the postseason. That's going to be the thing for the Royals this year is can they avoid that month? Because if you've been following Royals baseball, there always is that 1 month that completely does them in. And last year it was June. Over 26 games, they won 8 of those games. They scored 85 runs over a 26-game span. Just an absolute dreadful month in June last year. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Some things just go together, like peanut butter and jelly, or a Casey's spicy chicken sandwich and a 49-cent medium fountain drink, or a Casey's breakfast sandwich and a 49-cent fountain drink, or even Casey's limited-time hot ham and Swiss sliders and a 49-cent fountain drink. You get the idea. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions. March special is a toilet tune-up. New fill valve, flapper seal, and supply pipe for only $1.99. I can assure you that we are competitive. We show up and do what we say we will. We would love to win you over. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
This baseball season, FanDuel is letting you choose your own reward for opening week. Betting customizations that transform how you experience the game. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready for you on your next MLB bet. FanDuel is the home of home runs. Now that you can choose your reward for opening week, baseball just got more exciting. For myself, personally, I'm looking at opening day. Cole Reagans is healthy, so I love a nice strikeout bet with Cole. And looking at the Royals' home opener, fences are in, the Twins have no pitching, and Jack Caglione has a chance to grab the city. Give me an anytime home run for him on that day. So, ready to play your game? Head to FanDuel.com/local to choose your reward for MLB's opening week. FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB, and FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's March, and that means there's no better time to start betting with Circa Sports. It doesn't matter how you're planning on betting the mayhem. Picking individual games, futures to make it through the bracket, props on your favorite players, or more. Circa Sports has you covered. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Download the Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Well, we finally made it. It's spring, and I have spring fever. I love getting outside and cooking on the flat top or the grill, and Hy-Vee has the best meat department in KC. They've got the freshest, top-quality cuts of corn-fed beef from the Midwest and the best prices in town. They also have bacon-wrapped chicken breast and stuffed pork chops, plus the fresh seafood we love at home. Making a meal with a twice-baked potato. It's the best meat department in town. They've got the steaks, they've got the chicken, they've got the seafood, and you can get it only at Hy-Vee.
3, 2, 1. It's mid-March, and Kansas City is crazy about college hoops. Pick your bracket, call your friends, and count on Hy-Vee for all your game day snacks. Hy-Vee makes your watch party easy with a huge selection of ready-to-serve party trays, boneless wings, barbecue, sushi, pizza, and fresh bakery goods. Order ahead through the Hy-Vee app, online, or at your favorite store. Even if your bracket is a bust, your watch party will be a winner only at Hy-Vee.
Score up to a $50 bonus bet daily during college hoops with BetMGM's free-to-play fast break game. Log into BetMGM, play as the point guard, and choose to pass or go for a dunk. If you score, you'll win either a $50 bonus bet or boost token. The ball is always in your court with BetMGM, where you can take advantage of special offers and earn rewards points on every bet. Make a fast break during college hoops by playing as the point guard for your daily shot at a $50 bonus bet or boost token. All rewards expire in 24 hours, and BetMGM.com is where you can find full prize details and terms. BetMGM and GameSense license remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. This promotional offer not available in Nevada, Ontario, Pennsylvania, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Additional terms and restrictions may apply in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Royals coverage is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Big delays coming out of downtown. You've got that stalled big rig right lane block 35 southbound past Southwest. Also 70 westbound at 18th. You're going to want to scoot to the left through here. 2 left lanes are open. That's where you want to go. Right lane blocked by 2-car crash. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
You guys know that this is the part of the show that I always try to give you like a personal story or something. Rob, I have started a new show just to kind of give it a try. I am watching The Deuce on HBO. It's from the creators of The Wire. So I feel like I owe it to myself to at least give it a try. I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in. I don't know 100% if I like the show or not. It hasn't like grabbed me where I'm like, if I stop watching it right now, I don't know if I'd be disappointed that I don't know how the story continues. But, I'm gonna at least give it the first season. There's only 8 episodes in the first season, so I'll give it the first season to give it a little bit of a chance. Rob, I tried to get Jay-Z tickets today, and it was not a fun experience. Buying concert tickets in 2026 for a show that people actually really want to go to it's become not a fun experience, actually. Not in the least bit. Rob, I don't know if you tried recently to get tickets, but how they do it is, so you have like a 30-minute window, right? So you log in and you sign in for the waiting room. So you get in there. It does not matter when you get in there. People think this. It does not matter when you go to the waiting room. After the waiting room, it will randomly assess you a number that you are in line, is what it will do. It will randomly assess you a number. So you actually technically could have been the first person to log on and click on there. They can still put you at the absolute end of the line. So then based on what number they give you, if you realistically got a chance at getting tickets at face value or not. If not, then you just go on about the rest of your day. I hate it. It's miserable. It stinks. I should have bought tickets yesterday on StubHub when I was looking at it. I was looking at the price like, oh, man, it's not that bad. I should have bought them yesterday when I was looking at it. And then today, those same tickets that I could have got yesterday for $250 are now going for $425. And I'm like, I had them right there. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll try yesterday at face. And it was a terrible decision, awful decision. I'll be here with you instead of where I really should be.
I'll say this. I'm not saying that system's great. That's like the least corrupt thing Ticketmaster does.
Oh, I'm sure it's nasty work.
I still say at worst, it's like the 8th worst thing they do as a company. It stinks, but
I'm about to figure out a bot situation. I'm about to be a bot. That's the only way you can win. Honestly.
Yeah, teach your bot to click that little box that says, I'm not a bot.
Oh, they got that now.
Oh,
come on now.
Of course.
They got that now. I'm about to be the bot. Are you a human? Yeah, I'm a human. Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to figure out. That's the only way to win, Rob. You can't win any other way. How else can you win in 2026? If you want to go to one of those kind of shows, how do you get to go at a fair price? You can't. It's impossible for you to go. You got to fight fire with fire. You got to get a bot. That's the only way. That's the only way.
If he came here, would you go? I don't know. He's touring. I know nothing about it.
Yeah, 1,000%.
if he came here, would he be doing like Arrowhead level?
It doesn't matter where.
I'm not. I'm just saying, what's his fame at right now? Because there was a time where he could do anything.
I don't think he could do a football stadium by himself. No, I don't think he's at that level.
So he would be T-Mobile Center probably, or maybe
I don't think he could do. I don't think he could do a football stadium outside of like a couple of places.
New York.
Maybe. I think some place like Vegas. He could do like Allegiant. Yeah, there's some places, but I
just know he's doing Yankee Stadium. So I'm trying to find a comparable
Yankee
thing.
Stadium 3 nights in a row.
Yeah, that's basically a one football stadium.
Do it 3 nights in a row. Yeah, no, for sure. For this, he could have done a football stadium for this. It's his 2 most popular albums. He's doing the tribute show for him. Yeah, the anniversary. Yeah, he could have done a football stadium for this if he really wanted to. But
probably just don't want to be in Jersey for any reason.
But yeah, I'll be here with you. I'm gonna figure it out.
You still might go.
I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah.
Stop conceding that you're gonna be here. You still might go. Come on now.
No, there's a great chance I might go, but I'm disappointed at the way today shook out for me. It didn't shake out the way I wanted it to shake out. You think I'm joking? I'm about to figure out a way to get a bot. That's the only way to win. You can't win any other way. I'm not on here to be frustrated.
How does one go about acquiring a bot?
I don't know. It's illegal, so we gotta figure it out. But I mean, so is burning a CD is illegal, and we all did that at one point in our life. Fire Stick Records is technically illegal. I use it all the time.
I would never be caught dead as a kid on LimeWire.
Kazaa.
Yeah, Kazaa.
I loved a good bear share when I was a youth.
I don't even know what these are. I was always buying straight off iTunes.
Yeah, I love
99 cents.
I loved a good bear share when I was a kid. I was a big fan of that. What show are you watching right now, Rob?
Right now we are watching Rooster, and as well as Scrubs is back. I love a nice Scrubs, and we're trying this DTF St. Louis show, but it's weird.
I've heard people talk about that. I've also heard people talk about Neighbors on HBO. Industry is another show I've heard people talk about.
I watch Industry. My wife doesn't watch it. Not for her. Okay. Industry's great.
I'm honestly waiting for The Pit season 2 to end, and then I'm just gonna start watching The Pit again because I really enjoyed it. But I was like, man, the next show that I'm really looking forward to is the return of the Game of Thrones, the House of the Dragon. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Are you gonna watch the Night in the Seven Kingdoms?
Yeah, it's only 8 episodes. I'll watch it at some point. Once the tournament's over and my weekends are a little bit more free, yeah, I'll get back to watching that. But I just watched so much college basketball this weekend, like most of us did. That's was all I did. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care of yourself. It's a drive.